All right. It's another Tuesday night, which means it's time for the big three. And we got a lot to talk about in this episode. We also got draft lottery that's going to be happening. So it's big night. Big night.
Yeah, I wanted to postpone the show so I can watch the draft and my team play. So I wanted to call out sick, man. Because Dylan, oh, that's my boy Jermaine. What's up, brother? Yeah, because Dylan was like, oh, the draft already starts at the showtime. I was like, no, it starts at 8. But
yeah. Like I said, I got it on off to the side, so cause I do want to see who gets the number one pick because we all know it's the Wembayama sweepstakes. So one fan base is going to be real happy when they get up in the morning. And a couple others might be like, oh, we just missed out.
So the lottery is, do they count back like 10, 9, 8, 7, and then a 1?
Yeah, they go backwards.
Yeah, they got to save all the drama, for the end to see who gets number one.
You'll know pretty quick because you'll know the projected odds, and then when you get to like the number 10 team, is they're not there. It's like, oh, well, that team jumped. It's a matter of if they're like 1, 2, 3, or 4. So yeah, everyone would tune out after 1. That'd be boring. There's no money in that.
Yeah. All right. Dylan says he's on his way, so we'll get started with the topics. So before we do that, Jake, Jordan, how you guys doing?
I'm doing good, man. Just like I said in the pre-show, I got my graduation coming up in next Tuesday. It'll be this time next Tuesday. The way my school works is they're bringing up into 3 graduations, so they're doing 1 in the morning, which is my graduation, College of Arts. They're doing a School of Humanities that's like at 2:00, and then third one at like 8:30 p.m. It's gonna be inside Prudential Center in Newark, New Jersey. So I know y'all are in Atlanta, and I think you're on the East Coast, Jake.
Yep.
So I'm not sure if you're familiar with New Jersey. I know it's gonna be packed. Since my graduation is at 8:30, that means I gotta be there and get in line with the graduates by 7 a.m., 6:30. So
it's an early day.
It's gonna be. But then I'm gonna relax on Saturday. I got my grad party. Gonna have food and drinks, and it's gonna be exciting. Gonna have friends and family over. But yeah, I'm excited. I've been applying to some jobs. I recently applied to this NFL studio production internet internship. Down South Jersey, so I hope I can get that. I did apply to Apple, so I'm on the job hunt. So I know, yes, I'm graduating, yay, but the real world is finally hitting me. Finding jobs and find my career. So yeah, I'm excited. But yeah, we had the Lakers tonight. With game 1, it's gonna be a good one. Yeah, I'm excited, man. I'm excited.
Very cool. Well, congratulations, Jordan, on graduating college. It's a big deal. Congrats there. Yeah. Things are great here. Good weather. Just really excited for the draft. Seeing if the Utah Jazz are going to get Wemby or Scoot, or if they followed. I think their likely odd is like 9 or 10. So that's part what they'll get. But again, like I was saying in our pre-show,
he's gonna go to Houston, man, with Ime.
I just can't help but get my hopes up. That's all it is. Can't help but get my hopes up.
See, he's gonna go to the Lakers, man. Like. No, I'm playing.
Yeah,
I'm
history has told
trolling.
us anything. Good chance San Antonio probably gets the number 1 pick. They were in a position like this before. With
Is there a
Tim
way
Duncan.
is there a way real quick you can pull up like the graphic of like the odds?
I can probably find that and pull it up
Yeah.
while we're talking about the first. I guess we'll start with NFL stuff while we're talking about that. And I'll pull up the graphic of the odds.
Cause I saw a picture on it briefly. I just didn't know what that was, but I'm curious to see like what the boards look like for.
Yeah.
What is it? Is it like July or June?
June.
It's in June. It's only like a week or so after the finals are over. Like they hop on it pretty quick because by early July is when Summer League happens, and then you have the draft done by that point.
Yep. Yeah, Summer League's another thing that I probably get way too into than I should because it's just a bunch of guys are like only like 2 or 3 will really be on an NBA roster, but I don't know, something about it makes for good TV.
Yeah, like Jake said, I mean, the Wembanyama and then Scooter, both teams, any team will be happy to take either or. So,
yeah.
Scooter's been doing good, and Wembanyama, he's going to be the favorite to get the number 1 pick, but Scooter's right up the board. So, any team would be lucky to have those 2 superstars or future superstars. Sorry.
All right, so I did find the odds. So yeah, we'll save that for when we get to the NBA. But
Cool.
to start the show off, we're going to talk about the NFL. You know, they released their schedule last week. So I figure we'll go ahead and kind of talk about each of the primetime schedules, see what games interest us, and then, you know, we'll talk about a rookie class, get your guys' opinion on who you think will have the biggest impact. And then, like I said, we'll jump into NBA and all that. But first, Key in the chat. What's going on, Key?
What's going on, Key?
And
man, Key,
Key,
you better tame Freddie and Gene and Tay, man. They going off in the group chat.
They'll be all right. They will be all right. All right. So we'll start with Sunday Night Football. Yeah, there's no point in trying to get in the middle of that. You let them go at it. So we'll start with Sunday night schedule. Like, I apologize for you guys watching with the neon and all that. It might be difficult to see, but the season kicks off the opening Thursday night where you have the Lions and the Chiefs. Then week 1, Cowboys, Giants. You got Dolphins, Patriots. I'm not going to go through all the games, but a lot of interesting matchups on here. We know Sunday Night Football, Monday Night Football, you usually get the pretty good games. And looking at the schedule, like, what games jump off the page to you? I guess you could say probably not including your team because obviously those are the games that you are interested in. So
darn. It's like no, I'm playing now. I mean, you can go first, Jake.
Sure. Yeah, just looking at the list here, week 9 is the one that stands out to me as the one that's going to be the game to watch. It's Buffalo at Cincinnati for the people that can't see that. To me, this is the game that I'm going to watch start to finish. We know that Cincinnati just beat the living breaks off of Buffalo in the second round of the playoffs last year in Buffalo.
What's up, Jory?
Yeah, what's up, Jory? This feels like Buffalo's big chance to make a statement. I don't know what Buffalo's schedule like is before this, but they're going to Cincinnati. They have a chance to go on the road in primetime and really make a statement that we are the second best team in the AFC. We're the ones that are really going to challenge Kansas City. It's not Cincinnati. If I were to make a bet, I'm going to bet on Cincinnati. I'm going to bet on Joe Burrow. But to me, that's the game that's going to stick out. And then otherwise, just looking again really quick here, the other game that would stand out would be Kansas City and the Jets. If Aaron Rodgers is going to have anything, it's going to be in that game. I think that could have some really, really good storylines for the quarterback of the past as far as best. You know, people always say Aaron Rodgers, best thrower of the football we've ever seen. And then Patrick Mahomes, for me, is as far as arm talent, I've never seen anything like it. So that one could have some pretty good stuff. It just depends if Aaron Rodgers is going to play like he's 40 or if he's 35. But those are the two that stand out the most to me.
Okay. Jordan, what stands out to you?
Just a couple of games. The week 2 actually. I'm gonna see what that defense looks like against your Patriots. I know they got Ramsey, and like you said on my show, I mean the receiving corps on Miami hasn't really changed. I want to see that's gonna be a good divisional battle right off the bat. Week 2. My second game I had my eye on was week 4. I want to see, Aaron versus Mahomes is going to be a good battle. I'm not sure who's going to be home or away. I'm pretty sure whatever.
I think the Jets are going to be the home team. I think the second team
on the right is the home team. Yeah.
Is the home.
That's going to be traffic in MetLife. Oh man, jeez. Yeah, but I mean. Yeah, I'm curious to see how that game goes down. Super Bowl champion Mahomes. Now Aaron Rodgers comes to the AFC, kind of shift the AFC quarterback, tandem a little bit. And then the week 9, I have my eye on the Bills and Bengals because obviously, for unforeseen circumstances, DeMar Hamlin went down in the early first quarter or second quarter, so we didn't really get to see the full battle. So. I want to see who's going to win that game. Other than that, I mean, maybe Bengals Steelers as a divisional game, but yeah, there's those 3.
There's not a lot of duds on here. Is the nice thing.
Sure.
You look through it, and it's if Justin Fields doesn't turn out as a good pro, week 8's going to be kind of rough because the Bears roster it's hit or miss for. It's all dependent on what Justin Fields can do. One thing that I really like is the kickoff game. Is Detroit and Kansas City. NFL seeming to be binding to the same hype that a lot of other people are, that Detroit is going to be this team that makes a big push, the team that wins the NFC North. And this is going to be really a unique situation for Detroit fans to be in, where they're in the primetime spotlight. They're not in the, their primetime game is usually one of the early Thanksgiving games. Now they're in the kickoff weekend on the road against the defending champs. Celebrating their championship. I think that's going to be great. We're going to get a good sense of how ready this Detroit team is for the pressure that's coming from all this expectation from the fans and from the media.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I think one interesting week might be week 11, Vikings Broncos, because yes, you got Addison, who's been added to the Vikings offense, but primetime Kirk Cousins can be entertaining, whether good or bad. And by then, Sean Payton as the new coach with Russell Wilson, you figure they should be clicking by that moment. And yeah, I think that could turn into a really good battle between Cousins and Russell Wilson, because Russell Wilson has a lot to play for this year. A lot of people wrote him off after last year, so he's got something to prove. And not necessarily a game, but I can appreciate them putting Green Bay on here twice, because it'd be easy to kind of forget about Green Bay now that Rodgers isn't there. It's Jordan Love's first year as the legit starter. There's going to be some growing pains with him, so it's probably better that they put him on towards the end of the year. So I'm interested to see how he looks against Kansas City. That's going to be a lot of pressure for a young guy with Patrick Mahomes on the other side. And then even week 17 where they play the Vikings, for Packers fans' sake, they'd hope there'd be some playoff implications there. But I guess those are the 3 games that I'm kind of looking at. But like you said, Jake, they're all really good. And like I said, the only potential bad one would be if it feels the Bears completely stink it up this year. That's probably the only bad week necessarily.
Maybe week 3 if the Raiders are garbage and if Kenny Pickett isn't quite if he has a sophomore slump. Don't get me wrong. I think Kenny Pickett's going to be a really good quarterback, but he might need a few more weeks into the season to get going. One other game that I noticed here that I think could have a lot of good storylines is week 16. That's Buffalo at the Chargers. This could be if the season goes like I'm expecting, this will probably be the battle for like the third best team in the AFC,
Right.
where Kansas City and Cincinnati are clearly the top two. And this is going to be like, okay, we're the third. We're going to try and be the upset and get the win over the other team. That could be really interesting. Two really good young quarterbacks.
Got Anthony Price in the chat. What's going on, Anthony? He says Week 14 will show who's who in the NFC East. But yeah, I got Eagles, Cowboys.
It's going to be the Eagles, though. It's going to be the Eagles. it's going to be Philly. I hate it, but it's going to be Philly.
Well, Cowboys got Gilmore, couple other additions, and Cowboys fans, they feel like every year's their year in the division. So those two will probably be the two best teams, but we'll have to see about the Giants if they can take further steps from last year. The Commanders, I think there's a lot of uncertainty in necessarily like what they will look like with Sam Howell as their starting quarterback. Bieniemy's now calling the plays.
I'm just going to say this for Washington. It doesn't matter what they do. Dan Snyder is out. Josh Harris bought the team.
Exactly. Yeah.
As someone who lives close to the Washington Commanders, I'm full support of them throwing a Super Bowl style parade in downtown DC to celebrate the worst owner getting out. Every fan I've talked to is just, this is their Super Bowl, and it's like the biggest weight lifted off. So they could go 5-12 and be okay because it's this new chapter for the team. But yeah, Washington, go nuts, throw the parade. I'll be there for it.
Doesn't the owner like own the Devils too?
He owns the Sixers as well.
He owns the Sixers, yeah.
So Devils, Sixers, and then now the Commanders.
He's a rich dude.
Man, he's making, especially with the Devils doing good this year. Even though they got bounced out, I think by the Hurricanes, I think.
Yes.
It was like the red, like the swirl. And,
yeah, that's the Hurricanes. I was trying to remember back. Yeah, that was the Hurricanes.
Yeah, man, he's making bank, man.
And Anthony said, "Why I got to bring up Washington? That wasn't in the topic." Well,
I was trying to put a good spin on it, Anthony. Like I'm trying to throw some props there. It's good days for Washington. Good days.
I know Jake countered it with a good note about Snyder being gone.
Yeah, that's a thing to celebrate for sure.
Celebrate that.
That's definitely might not should show up and win on the record, but it should win for the fan base.
Oh, it's a huge win. Huge win for the team.
And having Bieniemy there as a potential future coach, a lot of reasons to be optimistic.
Things haven't looked this good since, who knows when for Washington. It's been a long time since RG3's first year. Hasn't been looking this positive.
Yeah,
they don't even have a quarterback really. I mean, we're still waiting on Sam Howell, but we can move on. We don't have to talk about Washington since they're not even on a primetime Sunday night game yet.
Right. All right. So now let's look at Thursday night football, because this is the one that's usually, I don't know, kind of the slate that's usually seen as the worst of the primetime slates, but I will give them credit. I think Thursday night looks pretty good this year. I'm sure Amazon put a lot of pressure on them after what they went through last year after paying a bunch of money for it. But the slate kicks off September 14th, so week 2, with Vikings, Eagles. Other notable games, I mean, the following you got Giants, Niners, which is a throwback to the 90s when those two were
that's gonna be
really big rivals.
Game.
Daniel Jones versus Brock Purdy, Trey Lance. I mean,
who knows? Tom Brady.
Right. Who knows at this point? Lions again early on Thursday night against Green Bay. Bears, Washington. Could be interesting. Sam Howell, Justin Fields. Broncos, Chiefs. Your Saints versus the Jaguars. Bucks, Bills. Jory, she's in the chat. You got Titans, Steelers. Panthers, Bears. That's going to be interesting.
That could be a rough one.
It could be.
If Justin Fields isn't, if he's not electric, that game could be rough. That could be rough. The next one though, the Bengals Ravens. That's one that I'm going to want to watch. I know, Jordan's a big Ravens fan, but that's one that I will stay up to watch, and I will make sure and watch on Amazon Prime, because that one is going to be great. That's might be the best looking game of all the Thursday night games.
Right. There's some potential other ones like I said, week 6 Broncos Chiefs could be really good depending on how the Broncos look. And then the back half, we got the Black Friday Jets Dolphins. We'll have to see if Tua is around by week 12. If he is, that could be a really good one. And even the last game, Jets Browns, if Deshaun Watson looks good, that could be a really, really entertaining game. What's up, Dylan? Oh. Wait, Jake, I think you're muted.
Oh shoot, John, there with the Falcons not having any primetime game, man, that it warms my Saints heart. It makes me so happy to see that they're not going to be on TV. Love it.
Well, John, you have this to look forward to. If the Falcons are good at the end of the season when they flex out some games, maybe there's a Falcons Saints game later in the year.
Maybe,
possibly. Anthony says Washington versus Bears lame and Titans versus Pittsburgh.
You don't like Jory here that the Titans versus Pittsburgh.
I don't know. That game could be kind of rough. We'll see.
Yeah,
Who
I
y'all-
mean,
Who y'all
if you have
looking for?
Will Levis
Being the
playing at
Titans?
that point, maybe there's interest if Will Levis is that quarterback. If not, yeah, I don't know if a lot of people.
So, what is the initial first game? Is that the Chiefs in Detroit?
Hmm?
What is the actual first game of the season? Like, what is it?
It's Detroit at Kansas City.
So it's not the
first game.
Chicago versus Packers, the old school game. They switched it up.
They did that a few years ago for the league's 100th anniversary or whatever.
But they always open the year with that game.
No, they've been doing the defending champion hosts that Thursday night game. They've been doing that since 2008 ish, and the only year they didn't do it was for the 100th year of the NFL.
So John has offered a steak dinner if the Falcons sniff 6 wins. All right, we got that to look forward to.
By who? Everyone on the second dinner or just Jay?
He just put, I'll buy you a steak dinner. So I'm counting that as the show.
I'm a believer the Falcons might win that division.
Who gets Hard Knocks?
so-
That's an interesting
You
question.
shut your mouth there, Dylan.
I
They ain't winning that
think-
division.
who gets Hard Knocks? I think. I mean, they gave it to the Cardinals
Dylan,
last
I
year.
can't hear you, Dylan.
Oh,
I can hear him.
Oh, you can? Hold on, Dylan. Let me do this real quick.
can you hear me now?
Yep, you're good.
My answer: the Packers. I think the Packers should get Hard Knocks.
That's not a
We'll
bad.
get some information on Love.
I think the Colts will get hard enough with the new
The
quarterback
Colts would be interesting too, but they did the Colts very recently.
or the Raiders.
The Raiders, I do
I
like the
could
Raiders.
see. I
the
agree
Rams.
with John. The Bears. The Bears are a good one with Justin Fields.
How do you watch Hard Knocks? Is that on YouTube or is that on
HBO Max.
HBO Max.
So they go in depth in their practices sometimes.
I've never watched. Well,
Well, don't they do 2 now? They do one before the season and one in season now, I think.
Yeah.
So
Because because the start of the season was the Lions, then the in season was the
Cardinals.
Yeah. Which, I mean, with the train wreck the Cardinals are, they'd be a really good one again, but they usually don't do back-to-back years on a team. I'm sure everybody will probably say, "Oh, the Jets with Aaron Rodgers," but I wouldn't want to say that.
I was gonna say that.
I don't think a lot of people. I think Aaron Rodgers rubbed a lot of people wrong over the years. They would just tune out. I think the Bears would be a good one. The Ravens could be potentially a good one. Where we could get a sneak peek at how Lamar
Ravens.
is doing with the team.
I was gonna say that, or the Steelers, but they're
Broncos.
and then
Broncos.
Oh, do the Broncos. Sean Payton loves TV. He loves the spotlight. He would be great. He was good on TV. He's a firecracker. He's a hard ass. That'd be great.
So John says the 4 candidates: Jets, Bears, Saints, Commanders.
I
like
want
the
Saints
Commanders.
on there.
I mean, you booted out Dan Snyder. Why not put the Commanders on?
Yep.
give them something to make them watchable again.
when do they pick the teams for Hard Knocks?
It just
I'm not
depends.
sure.
It just randomly comes out. It feels like.
Yeah. Should be pretty soon, I would think, to kind
Yeah, I
of
gotta-
build up some fandom for it.
All the other series, are they on HBO Max? I can watch them. All right.
Oh, previous years?
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know. I would think so, but
I'm kind of curious. I never really watched Hard Knocks like that. So.
I only know one clip from it when Rex Ryan, back in his Jets days when he was Mr. Hilarity on TV. I only remember that one, but other than that, yeah, I don't really watch it either.
The one I remember is the first one with what's his face mocking Shannon Sharp or impersonating Shannon Sharp that they did in the very first one with the Ravens. He's like, "I'm taught want my restitution." That's the only part I remember about it. It's great, but that's all I remember from it.
Too, yeah. Yeah, I mean, if you get the right team, it can be really entertaining. There have been a couple of years where they picked teams that people didn't really care about, and it was just like, oh, okay, whatever. Let's see. So, I mean, Dylan, looking at Thursday Night Football, what game jumps off the page at you?
Looking at all the games, of course, you got to look at that Black Friday game. One, it being the first Black Friday game, and the two teams in it being the Jets and Dolphins. You know, both those teams, along with the Bills, will be front runners for that AFC East. You know, the Patriots are kind of sneaking on the coattails. They don't have as much star power. Sorry, Kyle. That's kind of hey, you want them to be underdogs. You want them to be underestimated.
I do.
Exactly.
That's what Bill Belichick does his best work.
When you look at the Jets and the Dolphins, they'll be like really close probably around that time. It's going to be late in November. It's probably going to be getting closer to like filling out a playoff picture. You know, it's going to probably be a very crucial game. So that one really jumps off. Seahawks Cowboys, one being a Seahawks fan, and two, again, it being a late game type of thing, getting closer to the playoffs. Both those teams either will be fighting for top spot in their division or trying to get onto a wild card. So it's going to really matter. And the crux of like when it comes down to it, there'll be a big tiebreaker like game. So those two really jump off. And then I guess the Vikings and Eagles is really interesting, but I wasn't a really big believer in the Vikings in the first place. So the Eagles might just beat the crap out of them.
Yeah. John says 3 rules apply to them. They have a first-year head coach in place. They've had a playoff berth in the past 2 seasons. They appeared on the show in the past 10 years. And those 4 teams I mentioned are the only ones. Okay. So that went along with this one.
I think the Bears should get it. Bears absolutely should get it.
Yeah, I'd say Bears or Commanders. I wouldn't be against seeing either one of those. Jordan, what games?
For Thursday, I do like the because I feel like the Bills are gonna blow out the Bucks. It's gonna be embarrassing.
Don't sleep on Baker Mayfield now.
I'm not sleeping
Come on, man. That team is not gonna be good.
I think the Bucks will be better than people think.
I have my eye on definitely the Baltimore and
feeling
Bengals
dangerous
game.
at any point in time.
Yeah, I have my eye on that. Of course, the Black Friday game because it's the first Black Friday game. I have definitely my eye on the Thursday night game against the Bengals. Then I really have my eye on the divisional game on Lions and Packers. That's gonna be a good one. Obviously, Jared Goff is there, but new quarterback in Jordan Love. Like you said, Kyle, they're giving Green Bay that love with Jordan Love on that shine. So we'll see. Yeah, I'm definitely having my eye on the Bengals and Ravens game for sure. November. And like Dylan said, just like the Jets and Miami game, it can really – I'm not sure if this is the second meeting between us this season. I'm assuming that would be the first or second meeting between. So it could determine we're in week 11, that game. So I make a difference, but I'm gonna say that could determine playoff implications in the AFC division. I don't know if that was the first or second meeting we meet, but they can definitely have some.
I feel like that's probably the first meeting because I could see them saving the second one for like the last week of the season.
They like to do a lot of division rivalries towards the end.
Yeah, so I feel like that's probably the first. Yeah,
and they might flex that second game, whatever.
There's definitely a couple of games that could get flexed on here. I mean, Saints Rams. We don't know where those 2 teams would be by week 16, but.
Jets Browns could also be really interesting with it being the last game of the season. We don't know how good the Browns are going to be. We don't know how well the Jets are going to be with Aaron Rodgers. So that could really be like
no. Week 2 week 2 is we play the Bengals the second week of the season. So that is the second game, week 11. So we kick off the season with Texans, and then week 2.
You always why do you for some reason like isn't that who you played week 2 last year? Wasn't it the Bengals?
We
guys
played,
beat them.
No, we played Miami second game, and we played the.
Oh,
Jets
was it Miami the second game? Oh, it was the third game.
Then we lost. Yeah, I think it was the 3rd or 4th or 5th game. But yeah, no, that's the week 11. That's the second game. We end off the year with the Steelers on January 18th. Well,
makes sense.
To be determined. Then we have our revenge game against Miami the week before that. So yeah, that is our last game or last meeting. So
according to Anthony, Lamar gets injured week 14.
Be on something. Lamar gets injured week 14. That's his. I don't know.
I mean,
I don't wish any injury on.
Who's going to do that?
I don't wish any injury on a player, so I'm not going to do that.
Right. He's got a troll. He's let us know for weeks.
Who's Commanders quarterback again? Not Heineke. He's on the Falcons, right?
Sam Howell, man.
Sam Howell.
Sam Howell. He's gonna get. Who's their backup?
Sam Howell looks pretty good at the end of last year.
Brissett.
I don't know if that carries over into this year.
Who is their backup there? Is it?
I think it's Brissett.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, I think my prediction is just to boil up on Anthony. I think
you
they're
give
gonna
Brissett, Terry McLaurin, and some weapons.
14. They're gonna.
Yeah.
Sam Howell's gonna be benched by week 14, and he's gonna come in. Brissett. I was gonna make Anthony mad.
Washington's got a good.
I'm a UNC football fan, so I think Howell's going to be good. Good.
He looked good last year, and Turner was offensive. I think it was Turner was the OC last year for Washington, and he was terrible. He was awful. They got Bieniemy. It's going to be a lot better.
Okay,
they may not win as many,
can agree on
but we'll see how.
Hey, at least he can agree with me, Anthony. Thank you for agreeing with me for once.
Let's see.
I'm surprised the Colts don't have a primetime game this year with Anthony Richardson.
Man, yeah, I honestly wanted to see Anthony Richardson play. Like, out of all the
they had
quarterbacks, he was the one I really wanted to see the most.
Well, they have the Germany game against the Patriots.
Yeah, which is gonna be early, but like, man,
yeah, at least give him one. I mean, they might give Will Levis one.
Give me like a Thursday game where they can play like the Jaguars and like, the Jaguars be a showcase for Trevor Lawrence on a primetime game. Glad to get to see Anthony Richardson play. It's a win.
When I first saw this schedule, I was like, wait, where the Colts at least give him like one.
I love how anytime anyone's like for a Thursday night game for a bad team, they just put Jacksonville. Like Jacksonville's so synonymous with London games and Jacksonville games, and they just get defaulted into those.
I put Jacksonville there because it's like it's a conference game. It's a Thursday. No one cares about that conference. Jacksonville will be good, so it'll be a win for them. So it'd be like a Trevor. You could showcase it as like the Jacksonville Trevor Lawrence, on Thursday night.
Oh no, they're going to be good this year, but so many of their primetime games historically have just been on either in London or
same with like
Miami.
Miami. Yep. Same with like Miami.
Yep. So it's just funny, that's all.
Also looking at the schedule, where they said before the year that you could be on Thursday Night Football twice. The Saints are on it twice, the Bears are twice, Steelers are twice, and is that it? Oh, the Jets are twice.
Of course they are.
But I also noticed, like, for example, for the 49ers, like the 49ers got like rich when it came to this schedule drop. Like they got both primetime games. They got a Thanksgiving game. They got the Christmas game. Like, NFL's really like investing on a team that doesn't know who their quarterback is for the season yet.
It's because it doesn't matter. 49ers offense, they don't need a quarterback. You and I can play quarterback, they said
Sam Darnold's just going to lead them. Sam Darnold's just going to get all these primetime slots and like just go crazy in the 49ers offense.
Well, I mean, would it shock you if Shanahan somehow got something out of Darnold this year?
No, because remember the 49ers threw 8 passes in an NFC Championship game and blew out the Packers. Like, you don't need a quarterback with this offense to do much. It's a paint by numbers kind of scheme. Like, it makes all the sense in the world. And we do want to see what Trey Lance is going to be. If he's going to start, that's a huge mystery, a huge risk reward. Where if he's awesome or if he's fun to watch, it could be good to market.
Yeah. All right, so now let's look at Monday Night Football, which is the class of the primetime schedule. So once again, the Jets start off Monday Night Football against the Bills. We have week 2 and week 3 where you have 2 games.
I love it.
With one being ABC exclusive, one being ESPN. I feel like this is just the test to see how that works and how fans take it, but I'd be down for that. Also, week 14, they do the same thing with Titans, Dolphins, and Packers, Giants on ABC. Let's see. Week 4, that Falcons.
I thought John Suggs said that if that was they don't get a, they did have one primetime game.
That one's the London game, but it's just on here
why.
because it's part of the ESPN schedule. So that's an ESPN Plus exclusive.
So it's not really a primetime game like in the States, yeah. But I mean, I guess it's. I mean,
yeah, I think there's 4 teams that don't have a primetime game. It's like the Falcons, Texans, Colts, and
Texans don't have a primetime game.
Yeah, Texans didn't get one either. I can't remember.
Is the Cardinals? Have we seen the Cardinals on here?
The Cardinals. Yeah, the Cardinals don't have one either. Yeah.
No one wants to watch that train wreck.
Right. Especially if Kyler Murray's going to miss a bunch of the season.
So that means all like their fans, they're all the games are out of market. Basically, like if you're in that area, like those teams, they're kind of like.
Yeah, I mean, all their games will be 1 or 4 o'clock.
Yeah, they'll be on the Fox or CBS game. Yeah.
Then let's see, week 18 to be determined doubleheader. They obviously leave that open for games that matter in terms of playoff positioning. You got Christmas Day, like Dylan said, will be Ravens and Niners.
That's gonna be a good one. That's gonna be a good one.
Got the Lions on here.
Starting quarterback at that time for the 49ers. Like it's gonna be Purdy. It's gonna be not Will.
I mean, if you're the Niners, you'd have to hope that Lance is somehow around at that point. Because you traded up to get this guy. He has to be the answer at quarterback for you.
They shouldn't play in the preseason. Just let him sit.
I don't think they will.
That's how he got hurt in last year.
Yeah, but he also needs
have
reps.
to let him get like a
rep. At least a drive, but damn, boy, that's how he got hurt last year in the preseason.
Oh, he got hurt in like week 2. He
played. Yeah, that's right. It was week 2 he got hurt.
Oh.
I think it was the game against the Bears when it was like the rain.
It was the monsoon game that he got hurt. Yeah.
So John says, I think November 27th could go Bears' way, and now Vikings probably move on from Cook.
I think Minnesota is going to take a hard crash from their record-wise from where they were last year.
And we got Gregory in the chat. Miss you. Seems like it's been a couple of weeks, Gregory. Beware the Tampa Baconeers.
I hate that nickname.
Yeah, my dad always comes up with the corniest names.
Hey, I appreciate
it. I won't give you credit, funny. Gregory. That's very creative, but like, if that takes off on social media, I'll just be like, "Gosh, damn it!" Like,
if they have a good season, it will take off for sure.
Yep,
it will. He will be the front runner. It's just a matter of time until you get the NFL needs to cover like Greg. They need to get him just on there. He'll be a social media star in an instant.
Yep. Well, I will say, Greg, I did say a little before your comment, I said Tampa Bay will be better than people think. I'm right there with you. Let's see. All right, so looking at the schedule, you got the Lions on here a couple of times again because, like Jake said, the league is really pushing the Lions after last year. The Bears have a Monday night game as well, so hopefully with the money that they had in the offseason, they brought in a couple of wide receivers. Maybe the Bears look better. I mean, you have your normal Chiefs a couple of times, the Cowboys, the big brands will be on Monday night. We know that. But it is good to see, like I said, Lions, Bears, Titans, not necessarily a big brand. Let's see, who else? Well, Saints, Panthers, not necessarily big brands past couple of years, but
no, that one's going to be more saved by the fact there's 2 games going on than anything else. I'll be honest, with the Saints, they're not going to be a great team. That division is garbage, no matter who wins.
I think the Saints over-under is 9.5.
I think no team's going to win more than 9 games in that division. There's no way. I don't see it happening.
I was kind of surprised it was that high at 9.5.
Yep, I agree.
Well, saving grace for that is you get Bryce Young. Maybe some people tune in for that. Hold on, John's got a question. How many primetime games the Raiders have? I mean, that's 2 Monday nights. Seems like they have another Thursday night one. Why? Because of Jimmy G.
It's because of the market.
I mean,
It's the brand.
Saints have what, 2? Because they have Derek Carr. I mean, no disrespect to your team, but that's probably why they're on prime time, because of Derek Carr. I mean, would they have be on prime time with James Winston? I don't know.
Hey,
Maybe.
James, you put a camera on James Winston, you never know what you're gonna get.
Oh yeah, you know.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's wild.
Yeah.
But and that game's that's gonna be interesting. The Saints and Panthers. It's gonna be a very, very interesting game for like this week 2. I also like the Super Bowl matchup again. Eagles Chiefs, week 11. Now, like, of course, it's gonna be one hell of a Christmas game. Baltimore and San Francisco. It's gonna be one good game. The Super Bowl. Well, different coaches. Well, same coach for us, but obviously different coach for the Niners at the time. But Super Bowl matchup from 2012. Obviously, new roster, new wide receivers. But it's gonna be another good game. Trying to see what other ones. I mean, maybe week 1, Bills and Jets. I mean, Aaron Rodgers is in town.
Yeah, battle in New York.
Can't wait for Seattle to beat Freddie's Giants on Thursday. That'd be pretty dope.
You never know,
Oh,
man.
yeah.
Freddie said that he's gonna run at 1,400 rushing yards. You got to watch out for
Yeah, he's gonna
for
They have
Jones.
plenty
Man.
of
rush
games
for
for us to track
400.
it.
Dan Jones. He's gonna rush for like 500 against the Seahawks, brother. Like Dylan, look out.
He's gonna set the single game rushing
gonna-
record for any position.
It's gonna be on Madden. That game gonna be on Madden, like rookie level, like no fatigue on it. It's gonna,
I mean, look,
I'll cry.
we'll be tracking it through the year. You got week 4 with, like Dylan said, Seahawks Giants. And then we can wait till week 14, Packers Giants. I mean, by week 14, he better be up over 3,000 yards if he's gonna hit.
with Freddie's take, like I would accept that take if it was just like being sarcastic, but the fact that he was being for real, or I don't
There's
know if
not
he
a
was,
chance in the
I don't
world
know-
he was
I don't
being
know if he
for
was-
real with that one.
I don't know if he was just trolling me because Lamar wasn't signed
There's
yet. Or
not
whatever.
a chance he's for real
No,
with that one.
it-
If he were to go to Vegas and put money on
Bro.
that one,
Freddie said
there must be
He's gonna
open
get-
paint cans in his house.
Freddie said he's gonna have 30 plus passing touchdowns. 14
I could live with that one. It's a passing league. They
That's
have
true.
some new wide
He
receivers.
What, like 11 touchdowns last year? What was it? It was either 11 or 15. I can't
I
remember
think
which
it's
number.
15. I think it's like 15, 12 interceptions.
Yeah, like how? No, he's not gonna double it. Come on.
That's like saying Derek Carr's gonna throw for like 1,800 yards, which he probably could. But it's had a good receiving course, but I mean, come on, Freddie, man. Freddie's just causing fights with everybody in this freaking network.
Here's a prediction from Anthony. Mark Andrews will lead the Ravens in receiving yards again.
He might fall second or third, but we'll see what happens with Odell and Zay.
You gotta worry about Odell staying healthy.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Burn health.
Daniel Jones looked better
And
this year.
Sure.
Yeah.
But look what happened when the training wheels kind of came off against Philly. Like when he had to actually throw the ball and make a move, he didn't look as good as he did before. So we'll see. I'm not out on Daniel Jones, but Freddie's take on 1,400 rushing yards and all that was just a little out of right field.
Oh, that's Freddie. That's what he does. I know the previous ones we talked about best looking games on the schedule. For Monday night, which game do you think is the weakest one on here? Just to change it up a little bit.
The weakest.
I think week 5, Packers Raiders. I think that game has a potential to be a skip it game for a lot of people. I don't think the Raiders are going to be very good. And if the Packers aren't any good, if Jordan Love's not good, that game could be a snooze fest.
Yep.
Anthony, I have money on the Saints winning the division.
I think they'll win it, but I wouldn't feel good about betting it just because that division is pretty rough.
I see kind of 2 weak games. Titans versus Miami. I think Miami might blow the Titans out, depending on who the quarterback is at the time. We don't know if it's going to be Tannehill or Will Levis or Malik Willis. I don't know. And then also, I'm sorry, I pick your team, Kyle, but the Patriots. I think Kansas City gonna whoop the Patriots.
You could think that if you want.
I mean, like you said, Kevin Bourne and I don't know,
matter.
man.
The Patriots defense is going to be really good this year.
That's what might hold them in the game. That defense.
Bill Belichick loves coaching against the Chiefs. I
Yes.
think
Man.
he'll take that game as like his Super
I'm
Bowl.
confident that Kelsey is gonna have like 200 receiving yards in that game. He's gonna blow
Okay,
by
when
all.
Ramondre Stevenson and whatever 4 running backs that Bill Belichick's going to run that game all get like 60 yards each and a touchdown apiece, then it'll be different, you know.
Yeah. Anthony says Eagles versus Bucks is going to be a blowout.
Probably.
Sooner or later, Greg and I are going to have to stop this Bucks slander.
Even if Tampa Bay is better than people think, like what do you think Tampa Bay's ceiling is? Like 6 wins, 7 wins?
I don't know if Baker Mayfield can be like a decent quarterback. You got to remember he still has Mike Evans. He still has Chris Godwin.
That's true.
Keyshawn, they have Keyshawn Vaughn, who he's talking about how he's going to probably take a big step. I mean, they
Who's
have
their
a
running back,
really
I
good
guess?
defense. It's Keyshawn Vaughn, and who else they would. I'm not sure if they drafted anybody.
They had to move
But-
on from Fournette.
They still have a good defense. You know, the offensive line is a little weaker, but they still have young, good pieces. I mean, it really just depends on if Baker Mayfield is good or not. I think that's a team it's a winnable team in a winnable division.
So John says Bucks 8-win ceiling.
I would
That's
say
fair.
10 is probably their ceiling.
I said-
for me.
I said-
That's
I
the
think
max
between
amount
8
of wins I could see.
I think between 8 to 10 wins is the max.
Yeah.
I don't
think
know, man.
10 is the max I could see them get.
I don't think any team in that division is going to get 10 wins.
Oh,
I would bet on. Sorry, Jake. I would bet on it being the Falcons or the Bucks over any of the other teams there. I don't think the Panthers are there yet, and I don't know. There's something about the Saints that I don't know. I just don't want to.
Look,
don't get
look,
mad.
pick one.
Here's the thing. Like, I
Greg's
will
got
be
a
a
lot.
rational. I will
Michael
be a
Thomas, he
rational
might get
fan.
hurt, man.
No, I will be a rational fan. The Saints aren't going to be a great team, and it's mostly because I don't trust their coach, Dennis Allen. I'm just not a big fan of it. But to say that they're going to be like 10 or 11 wins is, you have to remember the Bucks last year had a lot of favorable games that kind of ended where teams lost games for them with Tom Brady as the quarterback, and they didn't look like a great team. That's where I just don't think Tampa Bay is going to be a great
Bucks not
team.
winning 10.
Remember,
Well,
Baker Mayfield
I mean,
couldn't cut it in Carolina. They couldn't cut it with the Rams. Didn't want to keep him. He didn't look great for the Rams over the totality of his stay there. Like, I just don't see it.
Hey, I have a question for Anthony. How many wins do you think Commanders going to get this season? What's their ceiling for the Commanders?
Bucks over under is set at 6.5. Gregory, we're hammering the over on that one. Gregory and I are about to make money off the Bucks this year.
How many?
Saints are 9.5, like I said. Panthers are 7.5. Falcons are 8.5.
What are
I take the under on the Panthers.
what
Yeah,
are
I'll
our
take the
teams
under.
like? Can you go down the list like of our teams? What our win percentages are? Like Patriots, Ravens, Saints. Well,
Oh, you want over under?
yeah, for just our teams. Well, you already said the Saints one.
I just looked up that division. So talk about Anthony's
Do your team.
John's question here, and I'll pull up the over unders on the screen. So how many games before Bieniemy takes over?
Oh man, I forgot he was over there, man.
That's
It
where
just
the hope
depends,
is.
really. If the team is having a bad season, by like week 9 or 10, you could see Rivera just, something come out. Rivera's taking a role.
Man, John, he reminded me, man. I didn't know he was. I forgot they got him. But he's not the coach. He's just like he can have. But I heard he's gonna have more say in his control over his offense. So I forgot about that. That's a good point.
But I think the contract says like Bieniemy is going to be the next head coach.
Well,
supposedly.
yeah. I guess.
I think Rivera moves upstairs to the front office.
I think you're muted again, Jake.
Yeah,
Oh,
Jake,
you're
you're
muted,
muted.
Yep. I agree.
I don't think we can hear Jake.
Oh, did I mute myself? Damn.
Yeah.
We hear you now.
I mean, whatever you said there, I agree with you, man. Whatever you said.
No, I can't remember what I said. Oh, well, I think I did. Oh, Rivera's going upstairs. Like this is the enemy's job. It's head coach and everything but the title.
Yeah, I think whatever their bye week is, probably right around that time.
I think the Patriots. I think that's fair. That's fair. I'd say that's fair.
Kyle, you moving slow.
Yeah, you moving slow, man. Like, come on, I asked you like 5 minutes ago.
Anthony, me and you about to be on site, buddy. I was looking for a good whistle that had it like laid out cleanly. Because I found one that looked all clunky. I don't
So my team, Ravens, Dylan, Seahawks.
So we got Cardinals 5.5, Falcons 7.5, Ravens are 8.5.
8.5.
Bills,
Oh, what's going on there, Jordan?
Actually, hopefully this is like an updated one. What's the date on
this?
Can't be real,
because or it's not real, but it's like, is it new?
It's March 29th.
Oh, come on, it's also long.
We'll go with it.
Oh, come on.
Oh, that's before the Lamar news, though.
It is. So I think 10.5 plus 2.
So not counting the Ravens, I'll find a better one. Bills 10.5, Panthers 7.5, Bengals 11.5, Browns 8.5, Bears 7.5, Cowboys 9.5, Broncos 8.5, Lions 9, Packers 7.5, Texans 5.5, Colts 6.5, Chiefs 11.5, Chargers 9.5, Rams 7.5, Jaguars 9.5.
They gave him Patriots 7.5.
Hammer the over on that too.
With that tough division, man. Good luck.
9.5 for the Dolphins, 8.5 Vikings, like Jordan said, 7.5 Patriots, 9.5 Saints, Giants 8.5, Jets 9.5, Eagles 10.5, the Niners 11.5.
Wow.
Seahawks 8.5, Steelers 8.5, Bucks 6.5.
They're like woohoo! They're like woohoo!
Titans 7.5, and Commanders 7.5. Yeah.
So I found an updated over under. So the Ravens is based on who you book with is either 9.5 or 10.5 for their over under for wins.
So that's after the Lamar signing.
Yep.
Okay, that makes more sense. And plus with the new additions like Odell and Zay Flowers.
Oh, John's giving us stuff to take to Vegas. My predictions for your teams: Pats 9, Saints 7, Ravens 10, Seahawks 11.
Yeah. John's got it right.
So he's basically going over on all of our teams except
the Saints.
Yeah.
We'll see. Saints also have the easiest schedule.
It looks like it's on site for Jake and John.
It's fine. They're going to probably get 8 wins, in all honesty. They're probably going to get 8.
Jermaine, we're not on the...
Right, get out of here. Get out of here. We don't need more Lakers fans.
Jermaine, brother, we're on the NFL right now, man. Take that from the NBA chat.
So Gregory says, calm down, Dylan.
I'm your kid, Greg. You know that's not possible.
Wait, Greg, who's your team again, brother? The Buccaneers?
He don't really have a team. He's wherever you guys go.
It's a floater. Hey man, I convert to a Ravens fan, man. Big trust, Lamar Jackson, man.
Nah, you don't want that. You don't want those problems, Gregory. You don't want
that.
He likes Mark Andrews. He just goes where the OU guys go.
Hey man.
Okay.
Hollywood Brown. What night on what he used to be?
Is Hollywood Brown still in Arizona? I don't even know where he is anymore.
I think he's on Arizona, yeah.
I guess that's working out for him.
Throwing shots, man.
I don't care for Arizona.
Yeah.
Draft lottery happening.
But like, do you think Gannon from the Eagles will kind of help turn that team around?
They are hoping hard that he does. I mean, look, I think Kyler Murray has a lot of talent.
I think
he needs to grow up. Number one, Kingsbury was just, you know why they went with Kingsbury, because he and Kyler Murray had the connection in college, and they assumed it was just going to work in the NFL. But I see Kingsbury more as an offensive coordinator. He's not really a head coach material. And Kyler Murray doesn't need a friend as a head coach. He needs somebody who's going to challenge him, bring discipline to his game, and then he can actually grow into I think he could be a really good quarterback if he really works on the
one of
minor details in being a quarterback.
Yeah, when he's on his game, he's one of the most fun and entertaining quarterbacks to watch. When he does his thing, it's great. The problem is he's not a leader. He's shown to be very immature, and as the season goes along, his play is just consistently deteriorated. So we do have
Then
to
he's
worry
coming
about
from the
that.
ACL injury too. So
And that's a big deal. But if he can get his head straight, get the leadership stuff, and a good coach, he could totally do it because he has all the gifts to do it. It's just, he just doesn't seem to put it together.
Is he talking about the Ravens? Not saying the hurry up or that's the Cardinals. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
They both, bro. They both kind of run similar.
All right,
I
so
think Titans trying to blow it. Oh, he has a good point. I think Titans trying to blow it up this year. Drafted another quarterback. Just got one last year. Talking about moving Henry. Vrabel being gone after this year.
They're not going to fire Vrabel. There's no way.
That would be the dumbest move if they fired Vrabel.
Tennessee could go 0-16.
Chat, Jory.
Yeah, Tennessee could go 0-16. They won't. But if they went 0-16, I would still come on here and defend that Mike Vrabel should be the head coach for Tennessee. Because if they fired him, there'd be about 18 teams that would be willing to fire their coach to bring Vrabel as their new head coach. Yep. He's awesome.
Yep.
He's awesome. I wish if I could do a swap between Dennis Allen and Mike Vrabel, I would totally do it.
I didn't know. That's crazy how Tom Brady played with some of these people Teddy Bruschi, who's on ESPN, Vrabel, who's on the Patriots. That's crazy how he played with them.
Yeah.
I didn't even know he was on.
You played 20. You played 20 years. You run into that.
Yeah, I didn't even. I didn't know he was on the team until I saw the man in the arena.
Yeah.
The Tom Brady series.
Then John again. I bet they will. Hold on. I bet they'll let Vrabel go because it's under new management. If you want to get up on the wrong foot, yeah, go ahead and let him go.
Yeah, maybe it'll happen, and the Saints have a terrible year, and they could bring in Mike Vrabel. I'd fully support that.
Wait, Anthony, what happened to the win total? Oh wait, did you see the win totals, Jake, or that was the updated one?
Mm-hmm.
I thought Anthony was gonna. He was calling you slow for pulling up the.
The update, everything was the same on the win totals. It's just that Baltimore's was the only one that had any change because of Lamar's contract.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one that would have changed. Everybody else kind of was set by the time of March. So.
Oh, what were the Colts ones? Okay, with Anthony Richardson, what did they?
6.5, I believe.
6.5.
I might take the under on that one. I think they're going to be pretty bad.
Yeah, I would think Anthony Richardson would be good, but I wouldn't think the team's record. He would play some close games against some good teams, and you'd be like, man, this Colts team's going to be good in a while. But I think 6.5 is a little too much for him.
So I think before we get to the draft lottery odds, go through the last football question I had really quickly. Yeah, it says we had 10 minutes before the reveal, and then I'll bring up the odds and we can talk about that and lead into
the NBA. 9:30 minutes, not 30 minutes. So.
Mm-hmm. So which rookie wide receiver will have the biggest impact in the NFL this year?
They said which rookie what?
Wide receiver will have the biggest impact.
I'm going to say this I'll get this out of the way so Dylan doesn't sound like a homer. It's going to be your guy. It's going to be JSN. I think he's going to be an extra security blanket for Geno. I thought he was the best receiver in the class, and he's going to go to I think they're going to utilize him really well. Geno's going to really sustain and prove that he can be kind of this interim quarterback for the team. I think he's going to be great. It was a great draft pick by Seattle. The only person you could potentially convince me for would be Jordan Addison, just because he's going up opposite of Justin Jefferson, so he's going to have a lot of favorable matchups. But I just think Minnesota is going to fall apart this year compared to what we saw last year. So for me, it's Seattle with JSN.
Yeah, I think mine is Zay Flowers.
What a shocker!
I mean, it's definitely. I mean, we don't know what he's going to look like in the NFL, but we all know that he is, just like you said with JSN, with Geno and Metcalf. I think he's gonna, be a security blanket for Lamar with Bateman coming back, and then Odell there. Odell's a veteran, so he can try to mentor Zay. Even though their height is kind of like the different, but he can. He's definitely Odell's a great route runner when he's healthy, so he can definitely teach Zay some route running skills. And I don't give a shit if I'm a horn. No, man, I'm gonna say because I wanted Zay or Edison. Well, I wanted JSN either big body receiver. But Dylan got to him before me, but that's okay because all the receivers went late in the first round. But Zay kind of reminds me of like a Hollywood Brown 2.0. Like he's short like him, but he's has a little bit better.
That's what I've been comparing him to the whole time.
Yeah. Well, John says JSN and Quentin Johnson would be his two choices.
Yeah, I want to Quentin Johnson too. That's another pick, but that was it's another big body receiver for Herbert. But yeah, I'm excited to see what this core can do with Odell, Bateman, Duvernay, and then Zay Flowers and Andrews.
My pick would be for Addison. I think he's going to get a lot of one-on-ones because of the attention Jefferson's going to get. They also have Hawkinson as well, who I think will get some attention in the passing game. So Addison could be, a lot of one-on-one battles. All he has to do is win that, and I think hopefully Cousins will be looking his way. But Quentin Johnson from John, I think that's an interesting one because the Chargers do like to throw it. And if Mike Williams can't stay healthy, which, that's kind of a normal event, that's going to put a lot more on Quentin Johnson's plate to step up even more because Keenan Allen's not getting any younger. He's still a very productive wide receiver. I'm definitely a big Keenan Allen fan. So I could see Quentin Johnson in. He did say JSN. I think JSN is in a really good situation where DK Metcalf, you got Lockett. So
Jalen Hyatt, he might be that for the Giants.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say, I'm gonna be on the JSN side. I think he does exactly what Seattle's core needs. You can play him in the slot. He can carve up the middle. He's really good run after the catch. And with Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf, both of those guys are kind of deep threat guys. Like they'll run past their corner. They'll do a shifty move to get open, but they're not like take the ball 70 yards after catching it. And that's something JSN can do. I think he's going to murder in the slot. He's going to murder in the middle of the field. I think he was the perfect receiver pickup out of that whole class. If you looked at any of the receivers who could fit that Seattle mold, Jackson Smith was number one in that fit. So I think he's going to do good there. I like Jalen Hyatt a lot. I think when you look at the Giants receiving core, like you look at all the receivers there, and it's not a lot. If you're young and you're hungry and you can play, I imagine Hyatt's going to get a lot of touches there, and he's one of those guys that like he can get open just in a flash. And Daniel Jones needs a receiver like that. They need some speed. A lot of their guys are slot guys. He's not a big vertical threat in the sense that he's not super tall and he's going to get the ball, but he's really fast, and that's just an extra weapon that Daniel Jones will need if he's healthy, if he can play. I think it'll be really good there. And then another receiver I like is Cedric Tillman. I really like Cedric Tillman. He went to the Browns in the third round. That was their first pick in that total draft. You have a little bit older receivers like Amari Cooper, that receiving, and Donovan Peoples-Jones isn't really, a solidified option, I would say. Someone that could get a lot of touches there too. Big body, ran in that Tennessee offense where he just caught the ball. He had 4 touchdowns on Alabama. That's not something that everybody does. But overall, I think it's between a lot of different guys. It just depends. I'm not a big fan of Zay Flowers, not to be rude or anything like that. It's just we've seen it with Marquise Brown, and I want to see what difference they'll do with Zay Flowers with what they did with Marquise Brown. I want to see if they'll be able to do something different with Zay Flowers.
You're funny.
Before I get confident that he'll be good enough at that point.
Yeah, the only red flag I see with
highlight a lot.
Yeah, the only red flag I see with JSN, and he's going to be a terrific wide receiver, but he kind of didn't play much at Ohio State. He's injury prone. But then again, he's right behind the right receivers. It's just like. He had that time off at Ohio State, his senior year, so he might have a little bit of staying healthy. But if he can stay healthy and play the whole year, or he's gonna be a great receiver for them. It's just there's a question mark is just that injury because like we didn't really see much of him in college, like as far as like junior senior year. So yeah, but I'm excited to see what he has to offer for the Seahawks for sure. With Metcalf, like Dylan said, he's a blow off the cap receiver or a cornerback or a corner receiver like Metcalf and Lockett. So that he fits a perfect role
So
for
Cottrell.
Seahawks. Oh yeah, that's the only question mark I have with JSN, just the injury history.
I mean, it's gonna be interesting to see what all these guys do because was a pretty. A lot of people were talking about the wide receiver class going into the draft. Now that we know where they were drafted, I think a couple of them are in really good situations. I think there's a few of them where you might be like, wait and see how the fit works, but I wouldn't be surprised if most of them put up decent numbers this year. Zay Flower is going to be the wide receiver 1 by week 6. That is possible because, like Jake said,
He could
with OBJ, a lot of times it's only a matter of time for the hamstring or something, and then if that does happen, Zay Flowers would have to, unless you're going to rely on Nelson Aguilar.
No, he'd have. You're funny, Kyle. Come on, no, it'd be Flowers. Come on, Aguilar, get out of here.
Yeah, so I really like Zay Flowers. I like him as a receiver. I like him as a prospect. It's just we've seen kind of that mold with Marquise Brown. So I want to see what they're going to do different. Todd Monken, of course, is the OC there. It's someone different than who was there, coaching with what they had with Marquise Brown. I just want to see what are they going to do different. Show me something different, and then if Zay Flowers is the prospect to do that, then yeah,
Yep.
I hope Zay Flowers is good.
Yeah, it's a great point.
Okay. Well, Cottrell said he thinks the Seahawks got the best wide receiver and cornerback in the draft, so have to be happy if you're the 12th man.
Yes, sir.
I do like
yes,
Devin
sir.
Witherspoon. I think that was a really good move. Plus, it helps.
I think Seattle got two. I think Seattle got two team needs. Two team needs.
Yeah,
They did good. They did really
yeah,
good.
they did. They did. They came out pretty well after the first round.
We're down to under a minute for the lottery.
Yeah, so we can switch over to NBA.
Let's do it.
I do have the lottery odds here.
I think the Spurs get it. That's my guess. Or maybe
I was hoping
Charlotte.
you didn't do that.
How great it'd be for Charlotte gets it.
Fun fact. So me and my girlfriend, when we first met, like the first sporting event we ever watched was the draft lottery 2 years ago. So this would be our third one. And she our first year, she got the pick right. It was Cade Cunningham. The Pistons won it. Last year, she thought the Rockets were going to get the first pick, and it was Orlando. She picked Charlotte this time. She thinks Charlotte's going to get it. She had Charlotte, Pistons, and then I think the Rockets.
I have not seen Brandon Roy in a minute, man.
So Cottrell says
both there.
Get Wemby to Houston or
Why
Portland.
is Halliburton representing the Pelicans? Is he not? I thought he was on Indiana.
Who?
Halliburton's not representing the Pelicans.
Yeah, I swear he was sitting in front of
No, it was for the Pacers.
It's probably just the angle. Why is Dalen Terry representing the Bulls though?
John says Houston will get it. Jake, the only person happy about this.
I'm just looking forward to seeing what we're gonna get. We'll see.
Yeah. I mean, that would be interesting if Wemby ended up in Portland with all the news about Lillard maybe one out or Portland should.
Yeah, whoever gets the number one can get Wemby, man. Whoever's gonna get number one.
Wemby goes
yeah,
there,
Jordan,
maybe it
you're
gives
way ahead
Lillard a reason to stay there. I don't know.
Oh yeah.
But,
Yeah, my feed's a little bit behind too, but
You shush your mouth, Jordan.
Hey, the guys coming down on
You
the
do
stage.
not announce the pick until me and Jake are like, "Let's go."
yeah.
Oh my god.
And John, yeah, it's gonna be Victor and probably Scoot number 2, but oh man, this is it. This is what all the tanking's for. All the bad basketball. Oh man, they're gonna milk this too. You know they're gonna milk it.
I'm still saying watch out for San Antonio. It worked with Tim Duncan.
See, so all three of us are saying San Antonio. Like, are all of us saying like I don't want to pick San Antonio now?
12th is
I mean, Houston would be interesting because. Okay.
Pelicans got 14.
Okay, this.
We gotta watch it for Jermaine
Toronto.
too, because Jermaine
All right,
is
so nothing new there.
Orlando to 11.
So I guess we'll go
Hey,
here.
Jordan, shush.
No.
Bro, I haven't even seen any of it.
Well, damn. We'll get better Wi-Fi, man.
It's not Wi-Fi, bro. It's whatever's streaming.
ESPN
My-
streaming.
My Hulu's always a little bit behind.
Oh, yeah,
I'll be-
Hulu.
to
No,
be
you gotta go.
honest.
It's on ESPN.
I get my ESPN
Yeah, that
through
should be, yeah.
Hulu.
Hulu,
So
Hulu has live sports.
Yeah. Someone said the NBA lottery is staged. They know who's number one. Oh, I mean,
so Dallas gets to keep their pick, I think, because I think they keep their pick if it was unless it was 11 to 14.
Yeah.
So that's pretty great for Dallas.
Dylan, this is for you. Gregory says my Hulu's on time.
Jazz were number 9. Dang. Well, my
Jazz
hopes
number
are
9, yeah.
crushed
Pick
and
is
my
number 7.
dreams are ruined.
Yeah, they're gonna go through, get up to 5, then they'll take a break and be like, "Oh, come back for the top 4."
You had 2 picks, Magic. You had 2 picks.
I mean,
6 and 11.
the Magic are just that bad, which is wild because their team is nothing but young players.
They're going
now
to be really
bringing
good.
in 2 more young players into that group.
They're going to be
Ben
good.
Wallace.
They should be with all of these picks. Like, you got to make it work after a certain point.
All right. I think they might take a commercial break, but
They're absolutely
Oh, I'm
going to
sure.
take a commercial break.
I'm trying to think if there's anybody that's been skipped over.
Yeah, the Trailblazers. Trailblazers had the 5th best odds. They are now currently
So
in the top
they're-
4.
Oh man,
Uh-oh.
It's
That
gonna
means
be
it'll a top.
Charlotte.
That means it's a guaranteed top 3 then when you jump, right?
Portland should be a top 3. Yep.
So that means Detroit, Houston, or San Antonio are about to drop.
Oh man,
Good stuff.
We'll
Yo,
see.
if Dame gets Wembanyama, oh my gosh. Man.
I hope Dame gets Wemby. Please let the basketball gods let Damian Lillard get a good piece.
I would love
might
it.
have to
Yeah,
be,
the
it might
Pistons
be a,
dropped. So the Pistons had the number 1 odds, so they dropped to 5.
yeah,
Pistons were tied for first, so that means it's going to be between Charlotte, San Antonio, Houston, and Portland. But I think
Pulling it-
Charlotte's probably going to get 4.
it's-
Uh-oh.
Control says, for the love of everything, don't let the Spurs get Wemby.
Oh, but
I
forgot about the
want,
Rockets.
I want it
too.
to be
What about the Rockets?
Portland. I grew up in Portland.
Rockets going to be the number 1
Like
pick.
they need it. The fans need it. The fans.
Gregory
need
says no one likes Portland.
Hey, man.
it. I like Portland.
Greg.
Come on, man.
Seattle.
Greg
Portland's
said,
old owner was the Seahawks owner. So.
Greg said his Hulu was on time, so I don't know what happened to your stream, Jake.
It's fine. It's fine.
Well, I mean, since it's in commercial, I could. So let's talk about Houston really quickly because we know James Harden might be out in Philly. There's a rumor he's looking at going to Houston. If you were Houston, would you rather continue the youth movement or bring in James Harden?
I mean, part of the issue is you have to spend your money on someone. Like, you have to spend it. I probably wouldn't, just because that contract, whatever you sign Harden for, it's going to be very, very expensive in like
Mhm.
2 years from now. Because you would think that Harden's going to want a 4-year deal, and he's not going to be a great player 2 years from now. And so I would think that you really wouldn't want it. He's never really felt like the best leader, the best like guy that's going to bring together a team and lift them up and make them better than what they are. But they need to spend the money. And if Harden wants to go back there, then it might be a way to kind of round out his career. But I wouldn't be going for it hardcore. But also, this free agent class isn't great either. So
True.
it's kind of like you just might have to.
The top 3 picks are like what Wemby, what Scooter, and then that dude from Alabama, right?
Yeah, I think so. That's probably how it's going to go.
Well, it's Houston, so they're going to do Houston things.
Yeah, back to
Oh,
Control's
no.
comment. I do agree. But Dame does deserve it. But I think Wemby, yes, he might lock up that center position. But they're gonna need more help than Wemby, man. I mean, obviously Wemby would be an awesome pick for them, but they only need like a 2 guard to go along with Dame. But Wemby would solve like that middle that power forward, the center position. 'Cause
I
he
was
can do
about to say,
everything.
I was about to say, does Wemby play the 5 or is he a 4?
Oh, he's
guy
a
in the
center.
NBA?
No, I mean he's skinny, but he's not gonna. I don't think he's gonna be able to play too much on the perimeter. I think he'd have to be the 5 because you would want to take advantage of his length and shooting and speed on bigger, slower dudes. But who knows? I mean, it's positionless basketball half the time, anyways.
Adding Jabari and Wemby, they'll be fine. Control said.
It does depend on where he goes.
KJ Martin, Josh Christopher, you're fine in the backcourt. Ime will get the most out of it. I agree. I think the Udoka
It does
signing
depend on where
is really
he
good for
goes.
Houston. Yeah, Ime is gonna do well in Houston. They'll give him the time he needs. There's no expectations next season down there.
Bro, isn't the Lakers game at like 10 something? Greg said.
I think the Lakers game is like 8:30. I think it's going to start.
Yeah,
once
it
the
comes
draft
on
is
after
over.
the lottery's over. How dare they go and put draft during the Lakers game?
There's my boy Wemby from France.
What are they going to trade for Wemby, Gregory? Like the only thing that could potentially work would be Steph, and the Warriors aren't going to trade Steph.
Yeah, Greg's a big Warriors fan.
Yeah,
Man, Wemby knows he's about to get paid, man. Here we go.
let's hope he does better with his stardom than John.
Yo,
Remember,
if
Jordan,
they-
you gotta be
If Charlotte gets like
a
Wemby,
little
man,
quiet, Jordan.
for number one, that would be a big thing for Michael Jordan, man. Well,
Man, they are really milking this.
Yeah,
Come on, you're killing me.
Orlando's probably the only place where he wouldn't play the 5. That's true.
Maybe.
wow.
No. Pool. No.
Pool
come
toss
on,
it a
man.
little.
Come on. Come on.
Oh,
Get out of here
it's
with
been-
that.
Oh, it's between Hornets and Spurs.
Oh man. Rockets got 4.
Wow.
Yeah, pull Thompson. Looney.
Portland
Yeah,
got 3. Oh,
we'll
it's
get
gonna
it.
be the effing
Spurs got number 1.
I think they called that one.
Oh,
I told
Come
y'all.
on, gosh.
Well, yeah,
Dang
we
it.
called it.
Greg Pop's gonna get his next guy.
Well, Cottrell said he didn't want that to happen. So, Cottrell, you can let us know your thoughts in the chat. That's the
wow.
Rockets watch. Do you know the number 1 pick in San Antonio 2022 draft? Victor going to be Tim Duncan 2.0. Yeah, last time they were in this position, Tim Duncan was the prize. They magically got the number 1 pick.
Look at Charles. Who's your NBA team? Is it the Spurs?
No, he didn't want Wemby to go to the Spurs, so I'm assuming he's not a Spurs fan.
Of course, it's the Spurs.
What? Cottrell's a Cavs fan, right?
Bro, the Spurs, the dude for the Spurs just smacking the table and going, "Let's go!" Like he's just so hyped.
Can you blame him? I'd be doing the
Yeah.
same. If the Jazz won it, I'd be doing it on the pod here. I'd be slamming on the table. Kyle'd have to freaking mute me for everything.
Gregory with
Oh,
the
man.
emojis. I just
So
want to
probably-
go somewhere fun.
So Scooter might go number 2 then,
Oh,
or he might go number 3.
we'll see.
to
See
Portland.
what Charlotte wants to do. Who knows? Charlotte might even want to trade their pick, given what Charlotte
Scoot
likes to
going
do.
one.
Yeah, I mean, Charlotte's
Scoot's
got.
a Spur.
Yeah, I could see Charlotte trading too.
Charlotte's going to be a wild card here. It's a very Charlotte thing to come
I
up
think they'd
this
go Brandon
short.
Miller. I think they'd go Brandon Miller.
Yeah, I can't even play with him in
I don't
2K. When
Yeah,
me
well,
is
so
cheat sheet.
technically, if Portland got Brandon Miller out of this, Miller with Dame, that's not a bad pairing.
No, that's good. That's good.
There goes Windhorse, man on the scene.
What do you think Wembanyama feels?
He's better get paid, bro.
He's
Put that
probably like-
into perspective.
Probably
Let's just put
like
that into perspective.
I'd
It's
like
like
to go to
look
the
at that
club.
Spurs roster. Like what does that roster even consist of? It's Devin Vassell, Keldon Johnson.
I like Keldon
trash.
Johnson. I like
And
Keldon
now, with that
Johnson.
being said, with Wembanyama going there, it's like some bigger name free agents like looking at that like Spurs team and being like, well, Keldon Johnson could be decent. Vassell's not bad. Malachi Branham's not bad. Sohan's not like. if some of these guys can boom or bust in the Wembanyama progression, they just need like a star or so. And
Watch James
first
Harden
team
go
is-
to the Spurs.
Keep him away from Wemby. Keep him away.
Yeah,
Yes, Jermaine. Yes, Jermaine. Gonna be number one pick
Control
in the
says,
draft.
yeah, I'm a Cavs fan. Wemby's in the system like Pops is going to be blah. Probably the quietest 27 point per game in the history of the NBA. I can see that.
Yes,
It's gonna be
yes, Jermaine. Yes, Jermaine. Man, do you watch
Man,
NBA?
Jermaine,
brother?
your
Like,
Hulu's way behind, man. Gregory said you're right about that control. All right, so draft lottery's over. We now see how everything shakes out. San Antonio gets the number one pick, which, as we see, Control's not a fan of that. But this is what San Antonio does. They get in a position to get a prize.
do you
and
think
have
Spurs care what Control thinks? Hell no.
No, I'll just say, Control didn't want him to go there, and that's where he ends up. I mean, to start your NBA career off
from the start too.
learning from
I
Coach
was like-
Popovich, it's not bad. It's not a bad coach to learn under.
And that's not a bad coach.
Lakers in 6. No, Control.
Let's go, my boy. My boy.
What Control? Why you got to put that up there? All right, since we're talking Lakers now, let's look ahead. Well, actually, no. 'Cause I want to talk about a couple of teams who got eliminated before we look at. conference
Control, what did
finals.
I do, man? I didn't say let's go. Look at this thing, baby.
Okay, we can start with. John and Mazatine think Miller jumps Scoot for number 2. Okay.
Very well could.
So that means he might go
I think as of now, I agree as well. I don't know. I think Scoot would make that roster also very interesting, but I think you'd want to use Scoot as a 1, like a point guard, and that's what LaMelo is.
Scoot's gonna be a 1, and but also for Charlotte, like we don't know what LaMelo's gonna be, and if Charlotte's not sold on him, you go with Scoot. Like you don't draft for need, you just draft the best player available
Right.
and make your roster fit.
Yeah, Charlotte just
I don't
needs
watch this game,
talent.
They need something.
talent is what Charlotte needs.
Yep.
And man, I might have got the stream, man. And watch this game.
I mean, you could watch them lose game 1 if you want. I had to do it. Okay. Cottrell says Scoot's going to be a Blazer.
Yeah.
No way
I'm fine
Charlotte
with that.
passes on Miller.
I mean, I'm fine with that. I like Shaden Sharp as a 6-man. He's still really young. I think Scoot would already be better than Shaden Sharp going into the league.
Yep.
He seems a little more polished. Sharp was kind of a raw prospect going into last year, and I still think he is. I think Henderson will be
Sharp's
a
a project.
better starter.
Yeah, Sharp's a project. He could come off the bench, and Dame can,
Blocking some of these Lakers.
Dame's not going to be your typical point guard. So Scoot can be a 1, and Dame, even though he sized like a 1, he can play more like the 2.
I'm just joking.
with all the
y'all.
shooting
Go
there.
ahead.
Like,
It'd
be a good fit. It'd be a good fit.
At the same time, like.
No, I'm joking. Lakers fan, have fun in the chat. It's Western Conference Finals. Enjoy the spotlight. But yeah, so before talking about the conference finals, a couple of teams that got eliminated, I want to talk about the Sixers. We saw what happened to them. They lose Game 7 in embarrassing fashion. They get rid of Doc Rivers. They have to make a decision.
Damn, Control calling you out, man. Yo, we gotta get Control on the show, man.
I grew up
Please,
in the
man.
90s watching Jordan, so I appreciate greatness. I don't know what you're talking about. And I'm a Celtics fan, so I watch Tatum, so I really know what greatness looks like. So anyway, we'll keep going.
LeBron, Tatum's better than LeBron. Get the hell out of here with that bullshit, man.
What? Is who?
You said Tatum. Oh, watching greatness.
I said I watch greatness. Tatum, greatness.
Kyle just hating, man.
Kyle's not hating. He's not bashing on your boy LeBron. He's just
I
saying
repping
that
his
Jordan's
team.
great.
He's repping
I
his team.
haven't said a bad thing
Tatum's
about
great.
LeBron yet.
Yo, Control, please get on the show, man.
Keyword
School
is
Kyle, man.
Tatum, puke emoji. Nah, who's the hater now?
What
is
Tatum
great.
did in Game 7 was amazing. Like
Oh, that- yeah,
to
it
get
was.
everything back on track for
51 points.
as far as like this everything going. That was amazing. He stepped
It
up.
was.
His first half, he was great, and you could worry that he might have done too much and didn't have enough in the tank for the second half. And he showed up, and the team recognized it. They didn't try and compete with Jason Tatum. They fed him. They let it work, and it was It was awesome. It wasn't a fluke. Tatum's a dude, and we're seeing him slowly grow
Another
up
one
little
in
bit,
the
little
chat.
bit.
Man, this network needs to add some diversity in the fandom. What's up, Pavel? Pavel, you're the hockey guy, and I appreciate your show, so I'll let you get that one comment in there. Let's go, Lakers. It was Gregory. I've been on your side all night. Now you're talking about it was a fluke. Okay. If the 76 had a
He likes the old
backbone, he's gonna
Celtics.
choke the
He likes
Celtics
the
out
old
the play.
Celtics.
I mean, okay, then I can live with that. So for Control's comment here, what does this say about the MVP and Joel Embiid, the whatever adjective you want to place on James Harden? They have Maxey, who's a good young player. Tobias Harris is Tobias Harris, whatever you think about him. Like, what do you think the Sixers need to do to finally get over this second round hump?
Well, they got rid of Doug Rivers. I don't think that was it. I don't know.
So how much blame do you put on Doc Rivers for them bowing out the way they did?
They've been to the Eastern Conference Finals and got boys.
They have not been to the Eastern Conference Finals.
They haven't been to the Eastern Conference Finals since 2000 with Allen Iverson.
Oh,
They
so
haven't been there.
This is the first time they've been here since like 10 years.
No, they've been to the second round before.
They get to the
just
second
can't
round and they always
they can't
lose.
they can't get past the second round
Yeah,
for whatever reason.
Celtics, that's why.
So look, I'll say this as far as the blame goes. It's 30%, 33% for Harden, for Embiid, and for Doc Rivers. Those are your three superstars. Those are the guys you built your team around. You made the big trade to get Harden, and they all choked. They were all terrible. Harden, I can't remember. I think he had, was it 9 points? He was terrible. Embiid had 15 points. I think I read somewhere he scored like 2 points in the second half, and Doc Rivers just choked. And at what point do we need to look at Doc Rivers? And I'm going to put this because Kyle's watched a lot of Doc Rivers.
Mm-hmm.
Is he the most overrated head coach of all time? Like, are we putting so much emphasis on that one title in 2008? Like, he won in 08. They probably go to a finals in 09 if Garnett doesn't get hurt. They go in 2010. But since then, it's been super disappointing. And before the big three got there in Boston, his head coaching career was very disappointing. So at what point are we going to just look at him and be like, man, this guy's overrated? I think he's overrated. I watched in 2017, the Utah Jazz without Gordon Hayward and Rudy Gobert beat the Clippers with that prime Clippers team. And they were the worst team because the Quinn Snyder out-coached Doc Rivers. So put a ton of blame there. James Harden is becoming just the playoff choker. It's going to affect him absolutely 100%. This is his legacy. And for Joel Embiid, this is just a terrible way to claim that MVP. Your last game is just this. It's pathetic. It was embarrassing. He should be. I don't know what they do because nobody showed up for Philly. Absolutely no one showed up. But firing Doc Rivers was absolutely the right decision to go. Absolutely.
Yeah, I said if Phoenix could fire Monty Williams, there was no chance Doc Rivers is making it past a couple of days keeping his job. And gotta see this guy's okay, so now Gregory and Cottrell going at in the chat. Appreciate that. I gotta backtrack to this one. Tatum's like Devin Booker. He's great when he's great, but man, he shows up small in big games too often for me. That is disrespectful to Jason Tatum.
I mean,
Tatum
to be fair though, let's not forget like a couple games before, Jason Tatum had like he was doing bad. He didn't have a great performance. I mean, it seems like it's kind of wouldn't fall it on totally on the Celtics. It's kind of the vibe I get from this, like Jason Tatum. I mean, not the Celtics. It's just the vibe I get from the Celtics overall. Like they play really good when they're like on everything, but when they play bad, like man, they play bad.
I do want to get to I do want to get to I think Paul's first comment or Paul or I don't know how you Paul or
this
sorry if I'm butchering that.
I just go
I mean what? How you say his name? how you pronounce his name again?
Pavel, because I know
Pavel or is it Powell?
No, I know like in Canada, W's pronounced like V, so it's Pavel.
Oh,
like
hey,
Pavel,
okay,
I got it.
I'm sorry, Pavel. I just want to get your name right. Pavel, like
it's Pavel.
Okay. Pavel. I think LeBron's already on the Mount Rushmore, man, with Jordan, LeBron, Kareem, and I don't know who that fourth is. I don't know,
Russell.
but he's definitely
Has to be Russell.
Oh, Bill. I was gonna say Bill Russell. Yeah,
Has to
but
be
I think he's already on there. I don't think he needs another championship to get to them. He's already on the Mount Rushmore for me.
Then showing the back and forth between Gregory and Cottrell.
Excuse me.
So Gregory goes Bird, Magic, Jordan, maybe LeBron could be 4.
You said maybe LeBron could be 4. This should be a definite yes, sir. Greg, sir.
Baby Greg has a
Who does Greg have over LeBron on the Mount Rushmore? Come on.
He has Bird, Magic, and Jordan. And
You said maybe LeBron.
Maybe 4.
Oh,
Yes.
Greg, man, get out of the chat, man.
Hey, Gregory's allowed in the chat, okay? Gregory's like the 5th member of the show. Jermaine says
It's my father.
Steph Curry.
Wait. Wardell for what? Wardell Steph Curry?
I guess Steph Curry maybe
Can
because you asked who would be ahead of LeBron if he's
Can you
not
clarify
in the top
that, Jermaine? Like, for your,
I think Jermaine's saying Steph Curry would be 4 over LeBron.
Crazy, man.
Gregory says I'm the mascot.
Greg, man.
All right, John chiming in with it's hard to say top 4. It was different eras of basketball. Okay, who was better at rebounds, Rodman or Shaq? Okay, so
Rodman.
he has a question.
Rodman.
Yeah, I mean that's
Rodman.
literally the only thing.
That's all
Rodman
he did.
Yeah,
Shaq was a good rebounder, but Shaq's dominance was just his offensive force of what he could do right at the bucket. But he was a good rebounder, but all Rodman did was those hustle rebounds. That's what got him into the Hall of Fame.
Yep. They got another question.
Jermaine,
from
the greatest
Jermaine.
shooter. I mean,
Who's
yeah,
the
he's not the greatest
greatest
player
shooter?
of all time. Yeah, he's the greatest shooter of all time, not the greatest player of all time. But he is he is high on that list. But as far as he's changing the game for the 3-point, he's a good shooter. But as an overall player, LeBron's got to be up there, man.
So Pavel has MJ, Bird, Chamberlain, Abdul-Jabbar.
I mean, to be Pavel's
says
comment,
Kobe's also up there.
you can put Kobe with number 1 with Jordan because they play the same.
You don't have to have the carbon copy. At
But I just
one
know
or
I'm
two.
not letting the big 3 diss LeBron like that. He's on the Mount Rushmore, man. I'm defending
How's
LeBron.
that dissing LeBron? That's what I don't get. You know
That's
how
tough.
many great players have come through the league?
I know, but it's Jordan, LeBron, Kareem, Bill. That's my top 4.
Okay, and to some
I mean,
Chamberlain
you only
fans,
put-
that could be disrespectful.
You
Or
want to put
Bill
Chris
Russell
Webber
fans.
on thing over LeBron? Like, come on, Chris Webber. Like, you want me to put Chris Webber? Be like Marcus?
There's like I've always said when it comes to top
Why
4
not?
or GOAT and all that,
Jermaine, man. I don't know what basketball you watching, man.
there's like 15 players that if you told me any of those 15 were in your top 4, I probably couldn't argue against you because they're really great players. Outside of that, if you start throwing out names like, when Marcus threw out the Chris Webber, which still the
Curveball.
funniest thing I ever heard, yeah, then you could go with people like that. But if, like Pavel's top 4, if he came up to you and was like, I got MJ, Bird, Chamberlain, and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, I'd be like, I can't argue with that necessarily.
Like, understandable.
Then Pavel came in with agreed how so many elite players are blessed with watching some great talent. That's very true.
Control. Amen,
Jake
brother.
and Dylan.
Amen. Amen to you, my brother, Control.
What
So-
I have in my top 4. Ooh.
So
I
we'll-
definitely have MJ.
Yeah, go ahead, Dylan, if you got your top 4.
I'm thinking. So I would definitely have MJ in that top 4. I think you'd have to put Kareem in there. I think I would put Bill Russell in mine as well, just because the amount of championships he's won is just unprecedented. I mean, he has more than a lot of franchises, and that's just crazy to think about. And that 4th spot, I would probably put LeBron. I would put LeBron in there. I'm not saying that's in order, but I would put LeBron in there. I think being the all-time leader in points is something that's crazy. I mean, he has had a long career, but that doesn't mean anything when it still doesn't change the fact he's the league leader, like the not even the league leader, he's the whole organization leader in scoring. And I think that just definitely puts you in a top tier of it, not of its own, of course, but in the top five players of all time.
This is LeBron hate podcast, man, because I mean, no. Well, you said, Dylan, you said LeBron in your top 4, but LeBron, like, first,
Bro, there have been so many great players. It's not crazy if you don't have LeBron in your top 4. If you can back it up, then I'm open to hearing.
You have to back
there are people who there are people who don't put LeBron in your top 4, and you'll ask them why, and they literally have nothing. Those people, go at them all day. I'm there with you.
Like Pukatrell's comment, his first comment there. These debates make no sense at all.
Just because
if you value rings,
your narrative doesn't mean
Bill
anything.
Russell. If you value stats, you have to have LeBron. Yeah, that's the point.
You don't have to have LeBron. Once again,
I mean, Bill Russell had 11 championships because it's like, who was he going against?
I've heard a lot of people under like 30 years old who say they don't put Bill Russell up there because they didn't watch him play. He played before color TV, so they don't even value that era of basketball. And if that's what your reasoning, then you probably don't need to have an opinion on all of this. But if you can back up your top 4 and it makes sense, I'm here for it.
I mean, like Charles said, LeBron is the number 1 scorer in the history of the league.
I didn't mean it to really
top 4.
No, you good for that.
Time. Also, if he's not one of your 4 best individual players to ever play basketball, then what?
Can I get my top 4 in? And
yeah.
Jordan, it sounds like you're getting your feelings hurt. So let me just give you a little love for my top 4.
You go to the finals other than your Jazz team. So
Look, dude, I was coming to your aid, man. What the hell?
Oh, okay. All right. My bad. My bad.
I'm like the second biggest LeBron fan on this.
Okay.
He said LeBron 5th. He said LeBron 5th off. He said off. He said he's off now.
Gosh damn, I'm coming to your
No, my bad. All right, go ahead.
All right, so if I'm doing my Mount Rushmore, and I've actually thought about this quite a bit. My top 4 in order is I have Jordan number 1. I watched Jordan play, and I just felt like he was always going to win the game. LeBron's number 2 all time. And again, LeBron, he's going to have all the stats. When he retires, he's going to be in the 40,000 points, 10,000 assists, 10,000 rebounds. It's absolutely unprecedented because keep in mind the current assist leader, John Stockton, when he broke the record, he was at 9,000 some odd assists. So in the 90s, no one had 10,000. So to have 10,000 along with the rebounds and the 40,000 points is ridiculous. Not to mention currently having 4 rings. That's a big deal. Third, I'm going to have Kareem. Kareem has 6 MVPs. That's the most of any player in the history of the league. I think he has 5 championships, had 38,000 points, and an unstoppable shot. Absolutely unstoppable. And then 4th is Bill Russell. And I have the hardest time with Bill because I've never seen him play, like Kyle alluded to, and the game was very different. There was a time where there was only 8 games. But with Bill, he has 11 championships in 13 years. He had games where he would have like 30 or 40 rebounds. And the key that I always say is it's not just about the wins. Is when he would win MVP, the years that he did it, it was voted on by the players. It wasn't a media thing. It was the players would say, who's the best player in the league? And the year that Wilt Chamberlain averaged 50 points a game was the same year that Oscar Robertson averaged a triple-double. Guess who won the MVP that year? It was Bill Russell. Like, he has the numbers to back. If you look at his career stats, they're not as inflated as like Wilt's were, but he had the stats and he was the ultimate team player, the ultimate winner. You have to have him, for me, in your top 4. So that's my Mount Rushmore. All the love for all 4 of those guys. Those are all just complete legends in their own right.
So like I said, I mean, I get Cottrell's point about the debate. I think at times the debate makes no sense, but I think if you have people who like legit know what they're talking about, I think it's a fun debate to have because
you have to back it up.
Exactly. You have to have a reason for it. It can't be like, I got LeBron 6 because the decision in Miami. It's like, well, I don't care about that. Like, that has nothing to do with on the court stuff. And, if you're like Gregory, it look like maybe you lean more towards like old school basketball and your top 4 comes from that era. Once again, I'm not going to argue that if you back it up. So John says, "Can't believe y'all didn't put Kwame Brown in the conversation."
Maybe for greatest draft bust of all time, we could put him there.
Yeah,
That's what you need to do, LeBron.
LeBron's just,
Bill Russell stole like 3 MVPs.
I gotta watch this game, man.
No, man. When Wilt played for Wilt. His idea was the best strategy for my team is for Wilt to score the most points. Bill Russell's strategy was to win games. Go look and read what other players said about Bill and what they said about Wilt, and you'll find everybody loved Bill Russell. If you want a great read, go read the Book of Basketball by Bill Simmons. He is a Celtics fan, but he's I feel like it comes off fairly unbiased, and there's a ton. He goes really hard into the Russell and Wilt debate, and you'll get a lot of good historical knowledge as far as what Bill Russell really meant for his team.
Yeah. So Cottrell says Bill Russell's on the better team. Well, a lot of guys who win the title are usually on the better team. So I can't really hold that against Bill Russell either. And Bill Russell got a couple of those as a player coach. I respect that too. You shouldn't win MVP by being more likable.
No, he's running the floor like that.
I mean, that's like saying Russell didn't put up the numbers to necessarily win MVPs, though. He didn't just get it for being likable.
No, it's that people that the players said that of all the players, who's the best player in the league? Well, it's Russell. It's Bill. That's what they said.
I'm not holding against him. Wilt was just better.
All right, you can have that debate. You can have that.
I mean, I could probably say maybe Wilt was the better scorer.
Yeah,
but I think Russell added more other intangibles. He scored a little. He rebounded.
But to be fair, he towered over everyone though. Like there was no he towered over everyone.
Well, that definitely helped Wilt for sure.
There was no defensive. Well, I'm saying about Bill. Like there was no defensive 3-second, and he can stand in the paint all day long. You want. I mean, the rules were different.
Pavel, is there an award in basketball like in hockey where the players vote on who's the best player as they see it?
I don't. The only thing that gets voted on by the players is part of the All-Star vote, and that's the only thing that I'm aware of.
Well, I think before this season they do like those little player polls where they ask them like best player and some stuff like that. That's probably the closest you really get to that. But yeah, they don't have like an official award necessarily for that. I mean, I know I had other questions, but the chat's been filling it up, so you guys can keep going with it. But if you have more questions, drop them in there. Let's talk conference finals since they're going on. Okay, so Kachal has a question. Who's the best player in the league right now?
As far as who's in the playoffs, or just in general? Like
no, he said in the league. In the league.
Yeah.
I'll just start and make it quick. I still think it's Giannis. I think it's really hard to stop him. I think, when you think of like domination or like just dominance when it comes to basketball, like right now currently, there's not a lot of guys who can just kind of score at will in a sense like Giannis can. You think of other players like Curry in a sense. People don't think he's kind of a dominating force, but I think how Curry plays is dominance, it's force. He can take over a game at any point. But I have to go with Giannis. I mean, he's always on that upper echelon of MVP and Defensive Player of the Year on consistent basis, and I think that goes without question. I feel like he should have been on a defensive team this year, and he wasn't. And he was a finalist for not finalist, but at least he was top 5 for MVP or close to it. Mm-hmm. I think this year was kind of just a setback, and that might kind of close people's eyes on how good Giannis is as a player. But I mean, he was a multiple-time MVP, just like Jokic. But I think Jokic, where Jokic fits in is he's good all around in a sense. But I feel like when I think of who can just take over a game at any point in time, I feel like I can get that more out of Giannis.
So John says Joker.
I think Jokic is like literally when I say Giannis is one, like I think like there's like not even a second tier of players, but I'm going to say second tier of players that are like 0.1 off. Like you can literally give me an argument for any one of them, and I'd be like, you're probably right. Yeah, I'm going to go with that one.
Okay.
Yeah. That's a great point, Dylan. I'm not gonna look. I love Giannis. He's one of my favorite players in the league. I think losing in the first round, you have to. That best player in the league is at least up for debate, at least up for grabs. And for me, I think it's going to be Giannis, or not Giannis. It's going to be Jokic. And for me, it has to do with how unstoppable he is with both scoring and helping his team be better. Like he's like a force multiplier. He makes everybody better. Like you would imagine, just if you're not a great player, he has to be the best player you can imagine playing with. Because he's going to make you look good. I'm going to give it to Jokic, but it's like a 1A and 1B because Giannis still instills the most fear in any player. Because when Giannis is at his best, I think he can't be stopped. Like I think of the 2021 finals against the Suns, where he had that 4-game stretch, and he was absolutely unstoppable and struck fear into the Suns' hearts. I can't forget that. But for me right now, it's Jokic, and then Giannis is like a 1B, like 1A, 1B.
Okay. So Gregor says, I'm not impressed by anyone who gets half their points from free throws. Okay.
Hey man, we're Trae Young fans, Greg. We can't be saying that.
Right. All right. So Jordan, who do you have as best player in the league right now?
I think it's Giannis number 1. I think Curry number 2.
Okay.
Then Jokic number 3.
I have Giannis at 1 as well. And I think the scary thing about Giannis is there's still improvement in his game.
Still
in terms
young.
of shot. He's still young, and he has that quality that I really love about him. He has the Westbrook quality where people talk about his jump shot all the time, and it doesn't seem to faze him in any way because he continues to work on it. And that's one of the things I love about Westbrook, and that's what I love about Giannis. So I think Giannis is the best player.
He's number 2?
I did not think Control was going to go with KD at 2. Okay.
Man, Control, man.
I mean, I see it.
You're picking a guy who gets hurt in warm-ups, man. Like, you can't.
But I mean,
you're an Anthony Davis fan.
I mean, that's true. But if you're looking at skill set, KD is very talented.
But didn't he miss like half the year with injuries this year, or like kind of like wouldn't?
You're the one who's supporting Anthony Davis every chance you can get when he's healthy.
I'm gonna put KD number 2. I'm putting like him number like 6 or 7.
What?
Because I still got Luka.
Luka can't even get in the playoffs, man. Come on. You can't get in the playing game.
But talent. You're talking about talent, right?
Yeah, but you also have to win.
All right, so now,
okay. So
since you have KD 6 or 7, now I got to hear the top 5 for you. Then, Jordan.
yeah. Tell me who you think the top 5.
I have Giannis number 1, 2 Curry, 3 Jokic, 4. I'm gonna say Tatum.
Okay.
5. I'm gonna say Embiid.
Okay.
And then 6, I got KD, right? And then Booker I got Booker right behind KD.
You can make arguments for that. Luka's just looks rough because he can't make.
Well,
the
I forgot about
game.
Luka, but talent as far as you know.
Okay, so you said you forgot about Luka. Now, where would you put Luka?
I probably put him right behind Booker. So number 9.
Okay.
But he can definitely move up, Luka. Like
Kyle's like, I don't hate it. Tatum's 5. I don't hate it.
No, I'm just trying to think. Like, I think the list. I can't say I have any issues with the list.
But
I feel like there's
a butt in that. Like,
I'm just thinking about it.
It's a good list, but
because like I'm saying, like,
I don't
think he's named everybody who like doesn't deserve to be within the top 8 or 9.
I'm gonna say Christian Woods and Psych.
I don't know what planet I'll take, Tatum or KD. Definitely not on Earth.
I mean, you got to put Brown there too. Jaylen Brown somewhere too on that list too. But
I can agree with that. Jaylen Brown.
Because I was thinking about Tatum 5 and Jaylen Brown 6.
I don't think I go that far with Jaylen Brown.
He's not that high. There's a lot of other players you could argue that are better, but Jaylen Brown's still a fantastic player.
John asked, who's gotten better over the last 3 years, Giannis or Joker?
Both. I mean,
that's hard to say. That's hard to say. They both improved phenomenally. It's hard because you have to look at Giannis, what he did in the playoffs when they won the title. Like that version of Giannis strikes the absolute most fear into any team. I know for Kyle, like you don't want to see that Giannis in the playoffs as a Celtics fan. Like you do not want to see that because when he plays like that, you can't stop him. He's just terrifying, absolutely terrifying. But he hasn't been able to maintain that. Man, that's tough. Like you can't pick one because they're both so good. They're just both so good.
Yeah, because I've definitely seen improvement in both guys. I mean, for Joker, it's like I'm still fascinated at the fact that a guy who can barely jump over like a notebook isn't the fastest guy, but he just has as much impact on the court as he does. I mean, Giannis, because of the confidence that he has in his perimeter shot, to be honest with you, I don't think I saw that coming from Giannis. Like, I thought it was going to be like a couple of years he tries it out and then he kind of just goes away from it. But, oh, man, that's tough. I'd probably cop out on this one and say both.
Yeah,
I couldn't differentiate.
It'd be a lot easier if both guys kind of played like the same style, the same kind of role. I mean, they kind of played the same position, but they kind of don't at the same time. And it's like, it's rough because you know what Jokic does a lot on his offensive end that's not scoring, like passing, finding plays, different things like that. Giannis does on the defensive end a lot better than Jokic does, which getting blocks. Right. Different things like that. So you can pick out points in each games where you can be like, where you can pick out where like this is what Giannis does so much better, and then you know you can do the same thing for Giannis, like do back and forth. So it's rough, but yeah, I guess I can see people being favorited towards Jokic, especially having the recent MVPs before Embiid winning this one, but it's rough.
I mean, I get it with some people because, like, Jokic, his game is probably more pleasing to watch because Giannis, a lot of it is physicality of it, what refs kind of let him get away with in terms of going to the rim, block, charge, all that kind of stuff. But, yeah, I think both guys have definitely improved a lot. But I just want to put up John's comment here. He has Joker, Giannis, Luka, Tatum, Booker, Embiid, then KD for him this year.
I got to put LeBron in.
I mean, then I got LeBron, Curry, Lillard, Ja. Okay. Oh, we didn't even talk about Ja.
We won't be for a little bit now. I mean, just like in NBA.
Man, I'm trying to watch this game, so can you do the better, like the reference real quick, and then.
I mean,
the whole Tatum thing. I mean, not Tatum. The whole job, man.
I feel like the only thing you really need to say about Ja is fix your inner circle, grow up, and take these last two incidents that you've gotten in trouble for with IG Live. And we said this after the first one. Learn from it. Now after the second one, really learn from it. Because whatever suspension he gets after this one, if he does it
again,
at least half a season, if not a whole season. Or
he could be even gone for like now, half the season or the whole season now.
I think it's going to be at least 20 games.
Yeah,
from what I've heard, like Adam Silver's taking things as like the worst case scenario, like
which I think he should. Because he gave Ja the benefit of the doubt the first time by talking to him and then giving him 8 games, and now it's like,
that's it exactly.
Commissioner, I'm gonna do it again. And Adam Silver probably was sitting in his office like, he's not really doing this again, is he?
No, that's it exactly, Kyle. Like I was surprised it was only an 8-game suspension the first time, and I think what happened is Adam Silver, who we all know is a players commissioner, talked with Ja and was like, if I suspend you for what I could do, because remember what happened to the Wizards in like 2009, 2010. Where their players got suspended for 50 games for having guns in the locker room. He's like, it's not going to be good for Ja if I go really harsh. I'm going to give Ja's said all the right things. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt and say, okay, you're going to be on your best behavior, and we're going to We'll make it small so it doesn't impact you going forward. He does it again. And you have to remember that 8-game suspension probably cost him an all-NBA team, which means it cost him like $40 million on this next contract. So if 2 suspensions and $40 million doesn't wake you up, I don't know what will.
Yeah.
But hopefully,
Plus,
get your inner circle right.
It's gonna be more than 40 million because when you're suspended, you don't get those game checks.
Yep,
you don't
exactly.
get you don't get all that extra money. You don't get any of that extra money that you would. If he was making like, I don't know how he would make. Let's see if he was making like $100,000 a week because he has one of those big contracts. You're not getting any of that.
Right. And the other thing too, I think that's going to be really important is he needs to go to like some serious mental health facilities where he can get like the 90-day centers, not the 2-week deal. And then when he comes back, probably be on some sort of, I hate to use the word probation, but some sort of like, okay, we're going to keep you here. You're going to follow these steps. You're going to follow counseling and this, that, and the other, just so he can get his head right. Cause we want to see it happen, but it's just sad. And it's unfortunate. Yeah. And
I feel like they should make Ja like do some sort of counseling until he comes back. Like if he is gone for half a season, like you have to do that counseling and even I think he should just still do it. I mean, he is trying to say all the right things. Like he's posting stuff on Twitter, like I'll be back stronger and everything like that, trying to be motivational. And it's like, don't lie to us. Like you already had a group, you had a fan base, like a young fan base, and you had a lot of people who wanted to see you see your uprising, and you kind of just like, washed it all away.
Sure.
And you kind of have to like earn back the respect now.
Yep. So there's 2 things for the suspension that I think needed to happen as far as like the counseling. His suspension and his return date is going to be, I think, has to be dependent on him having like a checklist for coming back, because you have to be concerned, because it's not just these 2 incidents. It's like the 5 incidents before with the laser pointer that could have been a gun laser at the Pacers game.
Yeah.
It was the him coming and harassing a shoe employee at the mall, then the security guard at the mall, and then going to a high school volleyball game and getting into a scuffle, and the pickup basketball game with the 7, like all these things kind of add up. So he needs to be, go to counseling, 3 times a week for this. And also, as far as counseling goes, like everybody should go to counseling. Everybody should go to therapy. It's not just for people like John. Everybody should go to freaking therapy. Like, just take care of yourself.
Yeah. I think Jermaine here is probably drastic. I think they should release him. He's a kid. I don't know if I'd go that far, but like I said, if it were like to happen again, I wouldn't be mad if Memphis turned around and was like, we'll take the hit from PR because fans would be like, oh man, he's such a great player. But at a certain point,
no, they might be done with him too at that point.
Right. Because at a certain point, you have to value, the relationship with the fans over necessarily a guy who could be a mega star in the league. It's a tough decision to make, but if they were to come out and say that, I wouldn't like laugh at them or anything for it. But I think right now I wouldn't say release him. Because I'm sure Adam Silver might sit down with him and be like, look, this is the 2nd strike. Like the 3rd strike, you don't want to be sitting in front of me if this happens again. Yeah. And maybe that's the kind of language he needs to hear to actually turn it all around. If not, he's just going to be another talented guy that just flamed out for whatever reason off the court instead of on the court. It'll be a sad story in like 10 years. But all right, so I mean, coming down to the end of it, been on for a while. I guess before we get out of here, get conference finals predictions really quickly, and then we'll wrap it up.
Sure, I'll go first. I'll keep it real quick. I think the Nuggets win it in 6. I think their home court advantage is real, not just the altitude, but just the home crowd. And I think Jokic is the best player left in the playoffs. It's going to be a great series, but I think that goes in 6. And then the Celtics, I think it'll be 6 as well for Boston to win. I don't think Miami's going to have the firepower to match up for a full 7-game series to advance, and we're going to have a Denver Celtics NBA Finals.
You go ahead, Jordan.
I think Celtics in 6, and then Lakers, and I might go the distance. So I'm going to have a Celtics-Laker final.
Okay.
Celtics, Lakers. Nigga, what? Do you see what's
I mean,
going
the
on?
networks would
Fucking
love
game
to have.
one, man.
Celtics, Nuggets,
My
motherfucker.
brother on like talking in the background.
Bro,
It's
it's
only
one of
game
the
one.
Liberty
Chill out,
Celtics
man.
He's
Nuggets.
trash
His
talking
brothers
your
even
prediction.
roasting him.
I mean, so I mean, it's only game one. It's not even the first quarter.
We've all been there, Jordan. Team not look,
Good.
but yeah, like you said, it's only game one, so you can't. I've always said this with playoff series, you can't overreact to game
Denver, the
one.
air stick, so it's like that can be a total for both players or both teams.
Dylan, what's your predictions?
So a lot of, I'm avoiding the Lakers Celtics finals. I feel like everyone thinks the NBA kind of has like a way they're going to go, and if the NBA kind of had their choice, you'd feel like Lakers Celtics would be what they would want. But they kind of put a little bit of spice on it. They put a little bit of spice on it and switch it up. They give us a little bit of unpredictability. So I don't think it's going to be Lakers Celtics. I think it would be a matchup between Lakers Heat again, or it's going to be Nuggets Celtics. And if I had to pick between one of those matchups that I think will happen, I think it's going to be Nuggets Celtics. I really like the Nuggets. I think they shocked a lot of people in that Sun series. I agree with what you said, Kyle. Their home court, Jake. Their home court advantage is really real. I think this is a team that's actually playing really well, a lot better than any of the Nuggets playoff teams that we've seen in the past, which is really well because a lot of this roster in those past years kind of have the same core people: Jamal Murray, Michael Porter Jr., Nikola Jokic. And I think overall they do have a better depth. I think the Nuggets get it done in 6. If 7 happens, I wouldn't doubt it. This Lakers team is really good defensively, and you have one of the greatest players of all time left in the NBA in the NBA playoffs, and LeBron James, who can turn it on a dime if he wanted to. So as much as I think it'd be a very good series, I'm taking the Nuggets. And then on the Celtics end, I think, man, as much as I want to take the Heat to be the fun pick, I think they'll get to a point where they'll run out. We saw what happens when the Celtics kind of cracked down and took things serious in that Game 7. Tatum played out of his mind.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like, the Celtics, I think that Heat might get into chances where, they'll steal a game. They might be up 2-1 at some point, and then the Celtics kind of crack down. I do think the Celtics also win in 6. I think the Heat do give them trouble, like they've been giving every team trouble. I feel like this is going to be a really good series for Jimmy Butler. As much as I would want to see Jimmy Butler make the finals and win it, especially being the 8th seed just to make it better, I think the Celtics will get it done. So Nuggets Celtics finals.
Okay. First off, before I go into it, Pavel says, "Hell of a show, gents. Love the insight and great banter. Good banter. Sorry, that's what we try to bring. So appreciate that comment. So for me, look, I've said several times back in February, I predicted Celtics Nuggets. I'm sticking with it. I will say for the Lakers Nuggets, the key is going to be pace. I think Denver wants to run up and down. I don't think the Lakers want to do that for 7 games. So if the Lakers can control the pace, slow it down, have AD dominate down low, that's their best shot at it. But I just have the Nuggets in 7. I've got the Celtics in 6. I think the biggest thing for Miami would be if the Celtics underestimate them, they could find themselves in trouble because, look, we've all seen playoff Jimmy Butler is a real thing. It's one of the more frustrating things about him and why I don't understand he doesn't do it all year, but this is what he does. So it's going to be fascinating to see Tatum versus Jimmy Butler, the two of them going at it. I think it's going to be, real fun TV, but I have Celtics 6, Nuggets in 7. All right, that was a really great show. You guys in the chat definitely.
Yeah,
You don't play no more? What the fuck? He's nice.
my brother.
I mean, George, it's bad enough. We roast you on here. Now you getting it in the right there in the background too, man.
No, he was asking me Ray Jackson on the team.
Oh, okay. I thought he was still roasting you for your prediction. But yeah, so Pavel, Jermaine, all of you in the chat, John as well, Anthony, who was in earlier. Appreciate you guys tuning in.
Our boy Greg.
Yeah. Oh, of course, Greg. You have to say nothing about Greg. Greg's part of the show. He's part of the Big Three family. Jory was in earlier, but yeah, you guys know we're here every Tuesday, 7:00. So make sure you're here next week for some more insight and banter. By then we'll probably be like 3-4 games in
Yeah,
on the
probably should be
conference
3 more
finals.
games in.
We should be
So
4
we might have a
games
really
in.
good
Yeah,
chance.
because I think game 2 is Thursday.
Every game is every other day. So
Yeah. So it'll be like
Yeah,
4
we should
games
probably
in by
be
the time
4 or
we-
5 games. We should probably be like 4 games in then.
Yep.
It's
Yeah.
a week, probably 3, 4.
So we might have a good idea next week who will be in the finals or who's on the
If someone
verge
gets
of being in
swept.
the
If someone
finals.
gets swept, we might even know.
I mean, I hate
Very
seeing
true.
sweeps in conference finals. That's the worst
Yeah.
thing. Like you get sweep in the first round, I don't care about that. But conference finals, I need at least 6 games.
Yep.
Yeah. So we'll let you guys enjoy the rest of the game. Looks like the first quarter's over. Nuggets have the lead right now, but like I said, early on, game 1, we don't know. Lakers can make a comeback in second quarter, and by halftime, it could be a tight game. But Jokic is off to a great start. So for myself, Jake, Jordan, Dylan, unless you have anything to add before we get out of here.
Nah, I just want to get out of here, man. Get some food and eat the.
Yeah,
watch the
I
game.
mean, UFC had a big announcement today.
yeah.
I mean,
Oh, yeah.
they announced it. Justin Gaethje versus Dustin Poirier 2 for a big UFC 291 card. So I guess that's pretty cool. Trying to think of what else they announced. They announced another big. Oh yeah, Alex Pereira, the dude who was the former middleweight champion. He's going to make his light heavyweight debut against the only dude to beat Israel Adesanya at light heavyweight, Jan Blachowicz. So I mean, that's pretty cool.
And
It's
did you hear
it's
about
a pretty
Francis
big card.
Francis news.
Oh yeah, and Francis
Yeah.
Ngannou signed with the PFL. Which is very big news. I mean, all these negotiations seemed like they were for a good reason. A lot of people were kind of giving him hate, but from the sounds of it, he's going to be the leader of PFL Africa. Working to set up different things there, getting fighters to come down there. He also pretty much said he guaranteed whoever he's going to fight $2 million to fight against him. So, I mean, he's doing whatever he can to get paid. He's also going to be on the board to help fighters out in negotiations from health and things. So, it took a while and a lot of people gave him hate for his decision, but it seemed like he really got what he wanted at the end of the day. And you can't hate him for that. Now, he said he wants to get a tune-up boxing fight before he fights in any MMA or fights any big-name boxing fights. But he says his ideal opponent's Deontay Wilder in 2024. So, I'm open for it. He said he wants a
Either
tune-up fight
him or I
first.
want to see him or the Fury.
That would be interested in with Fury, but Fury is all talk and never gets anything done. So we'll see. But that's just boxing for you.
Right. Okay. Jake, you got anything you want to add?
Nope, just gonna be lots of great basketball, and like I said, I can't have a sweep. I need at least 6 games out of both of these because before we know it, there's not gonna be any basketball, and we'll have to find other ways to keep ourselves entertained with sports.
Congrats to Spurs fans, by the way.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
If there's any Spurs fans watching,
Wembanyama's
you
on
guys
his
got your guy for the next, barring injuries. You guys got your guy.
15 years. Yep.
You guys got your guy.
Yeah.
Get the jerseys
Will
ready.
be his coach after Popovich, but that's a whole other show. But yeah,
man.
so
Shout out to Popovich though, real quick while we say that. Like, I imagine he was probably like, if you looked at that Spurs team, he might have been on the verge of retiring. Like, that's not a team that looked very sweet on paper. And then like the NBA gods go, here's Victor Wembanyama. Like, you can coach again for a little bit. He's gonna make things probably easy on you. So I'm really excited.
I think it's the second time Jermaine put this in. I didn't mention the first. He says he's going to be at the draft in Brooklyn.
Oh yeah, he does work at
That's dope. That's
he
dope.
works at
That's
the
cool.
he like does it the he works there. He works for the he like scans the tickets and stuff. So like for people coming in. So
Oh, okay.
I don't know if he'll see the players coming in, but I think
That'd be
he
dope.
Yeah,
I think
he's
he
got
can, but he can't interact with them. I guess he has to stay focused. I guess so. That's what he told me. Yeah, that's pretty dope. I think
he's
he was
still there.
I think
That's the,
I think he was there the Bunkero draft last year. He saw Bunkero and everyone walking in. So Jabari Smith. Yeah, Jermaine, and we all know you work at Berkeley, man. It's all good. It's all good. No, that's a good job though. It's just getting tickets and stuff. Pretty good.
yeah. Now the Nets just have to get better. That's it. All right. So, like I said, every Tuesday we're here at 7:00. I think another comment came in. Yeah, Barclays Center. Yes, we got you, Jermaine. But yeah, so appreciate you guys, and I guess stick around. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. A lot of great shows. Got a morning show. We got shows in the afternoon, shows at night. So we need your sports fix. coming over to Sports Empire Network. Hit the notification bell, all that good stuff. So until next week, we are out. Enjoy the rest of your night. See you guys later.